right now.
She gonna switch out.
I don't know what you're talking about. Hey man, we going live, man. This is getting too good. This is getting too good, man.
I'm here for it.
Hey. Yo, what up, lifers? It's your boy Dave Life. It's Dave Life, the After Dark Podcast. This is the After Dark Podcast, episode number 309. After Dark episode number 309. Black men and white women. Let me find it. Where's my graphic? Come on, graphic. Come on back up. Black men and white women, method or madness. Black men and white women, method or madness. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you with us tonight, man. So I want to say thank you. Hey, man, let's start this off like we always do, y'all. The right way. Dear Heavenly Father, have your way, Lord. Have your way, Lord. I pray that you would speak to your people, enlighten us, entertain us, and inform us. Less of me and more of you, Lord. Let us have a great show. Forgive us of our sins, by both commission and omission. Charge to our heads and not our hearts. Let's have a great conversation, and we give you all the praise, glory, and honor in Jesus' name. Amen, amen, and amen. Yeah. Hey, if you get the support and the After Dark Podcast, you can hit us on Dave Life at Venmo, at Dave Life, or on Cash App is $ DaveLifeTV. Cash App is $ DaveLifeTV. And the reason that I just jumped us right into it, y'all, is because the conversation was just getting too good. We're not even gonna go through all the various introductions that we normally do, because I just think we need to get into it, man. So thank you for joining, everybody. We're gonna discuss tonight a few things. Really, the topic is black man and white woman, method or madness. Black man and white woman, method or madness. The reason I said method or madness is because I want to know, is it really a reason or a method why black men date black women, date outside their race, specifically white women? Is there a method behind it? I'm going to put a few pictures up just to even set the conversation up. Jonathan Majors and Grace Jabari. Large, muscular black man, petite white woman. They had some domestic issues. He got accused of some things. She said some things. He had a case.
Just Dave, for the for the significance of tonight's topic, the main person you're talking about, can you please point out that Jonathan Major's nose is also wide nostrils?
Okay, all right. Hey, we're trying to understand why large black men, some like to date petite black women, and the only reason I made it even going there, Susie, with the size thing, is because that was a part of our major person who's in the news. That was a part of what was said. That was part of what he put out there, Right. And I'm gonna play it in a second. So let me not jump the gun too much. Is there a thing though? Let me go to the next picture. The next picture is Lord have mercy. I don't even know why I put this up. Look at this. The next picture is Uncle Shannon Sharp in his green army, skin tight outfit, next to an OnlyFans model. Her name is Gabby Zuniga. And she's an OnlyFans model. Why Uncle Shay Shay is in the news is because this young lady, as an OnlyFans model, was 19 years old when he began to see her. She was 19 years old when he began to see her. And being a 19-year-old and now a 20-year-old, and Shannon Sharp being a 55 and now 56-year-old, it was just a bunch of issues in terms of, you know, why they were even seeing one another. But it goes back to the picture of him being extra large. And I'm trying to find the picture of his nose. Susie. I got one. I got one. Just give me a minute. Let me find it. There it is. All right. So yeah, brother with a strong nose, dating another small, petite woman, right? We gotta talk about why these brothers are doing this. And I'm looking. I'm stalling because I can't find my my picture. Where's my picture at? All right, I'll find it in a minute, Susie. Then we have let me see, one more person. And I can't find a picture. We'll come back to it. Oh yeah. Then we have Haley Stillwell. Is it Steinwell? Haley Steinwell? Steinfeld?
Yeah.
Somebody look it up for me, Carl, so I can be sure.
I don't want to.
Yeah, let's get it right.
Steinfeld.
We got Steinfeld. We got Haley Steinfeld, and then we playing the character of Mary in the new movie Sinners. And she was dating Michael B. Jordan, whose character's name was Stack. And I know the people that hasn't seen the movie Sinners, this may be some spoilers, and I don't want to do it, but I kind of got to talk about it tonight. You know, we can find out what's going on.
Are you going to spoil like the things that we need to be able to kind of see? Like, are we talking Sixth Sense, the ending of the Sixth Sense type of spoiler, or is this just like what kind of spoilers are you how in depth?
It's a major plot point.
But is it the plot point that it needs to be? You're not going to pop the balloon, right? It's not going to be one of those things where it's like I said, is it like the Sixth Sense where you have to see the ending to understand it, or is it that type? Because I don't.
No, it ain't that. I'm not. No, it ain't that. But if you've never heard anything about the movie, and then you walk in blind, if I begin to talk about the movie, I will spoil something that you may not have picked up on. You know what I'm saying? Like going in blind, great. Okay, go watch it. But I don't know what you guys have heard. So first of all, who has anyone seen Sinners? I have. I've seen it twice.
I was supposed to see it this weekend.
You know, don't reveal anything.
I might have to see it now.
All right.
I was planning to go this weekend.
All right, so y'all haven't seen it. Okay, cool. Well, I'll just say this. Haley, in this movie, and even in real life, is somewhat ambiguous. They don't know. So, and I'm trying to find a picture of her. We were just talking about her as we were starting the show. We were asking, is she white or what?
I mean, the image you have to me is a really good one because, like you said, it's sort of, I think it amplifies her ambiguity. Because when I told you when I first saw that, I thought it was what's her name, Smollett.
Journey.
As Dave Chappelle said.
It's not Smollett. It's Journey Smollett.
But that's a good thing. To your point though. That's a good image because if I'm just glancing at it, if I'm just kind of looking at it but not really like paying attention, then I would say okay, she's mixed, she's ambiguous, she's something. But I wouldn't just say she's like a white girl. I wouldn't just label her as like a white girl. But I would say she's like, you told me she was Italian. If you told me she was Central South American, she's got that ambiguity. This image to me indicates she can be from all over the place. Okay. Especially the curls in her hair, so she doesn't have like the straight hair. It kind of got a little kink to it. So it could be Italian, it could be Greece, it could be Eastern. You know, you told me she was Albanian, be like, that's facts.
Okay. All right. So let me ask the panel. First of all, welcome to the stage. I got my man Sean, Brooklyn in the house. What up, Sean?
What up?
I got Carl, the human thinker. Carl in the building. What up, Carl?
Brooklyn's also in the house.
Yes, sir.
Brooklyn's also in the house.
I got Steve, the executive producer, HCP Productions. What up, Steve in the building?
What's going down?
All right. I got Susie Pie. What's up, Susie Pie? Y'all know Jamaican goddess.
Miami.
Miami. All right, and then
It's
I got
305.
Dr. Zenos will be back. He had to step out, but he will be back. And if any of my other lifers that can join, y'all just ping me. Let's do this. All right. Now look, here's the question, y'all. Black men and dating outside our race, specifically black man and white woman, method or madness? Is there a method? Is there a method to this? Or is like does, in other words, when black men date outside their race, is it calculated? Is it a reason? Is there something that's thought about? Welcome to the stage, Yvette. What's up, Yvette?
Hello, everybody. Nice to see
Hello, hello.
All right, so hold on, y'all. Yes, Yvette, welcome to the stage. I don't know if you've seen the movie Sinners, but we're not
No,
going
I
to
wanted to see it this week.
Okay. All right. So let's ask a question to the panel. And Yvette, I'll let you go last since you just got here. Black men and dating outside the race, right? Especially white women. Is it method or madness? Let's just stick with white women, but I know that men have dated other than just white outside of our race. Is it method or madness? Is there a reason behind it? Is there a point to it? Is it just random? Is it pure lust? Is it love? Is it freedom? Is it getting back at slave masters? Is it fetish? Right? Is it fetish? Is it money? Is it power? I'll go with let me start with who wants to go first? Which of the guys wants to start?
Yeah, can I start?
Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
Okay, so now we all have to understand that with the given history of this country, that there is a deep psychological nuance that we face as Black Americans that, you know, maybe it's a rebellious trait in nature. Maybe there's something that, you know, I feel like personally it might be a get back, you know, for what we've dealt with as far as being an oppressed people, that like this might be the slave master theory, that we feel like that by having a white woman, it gives us a certain level of status in this country. You know, example like Tiger Woods, or, you know, you might have somebody like Doc Rivers, right? But then, you know, we also have to understand that when white women see us as Black men, you know, it could be like a pure love thing, but a lot of times we start to see of how it may be a fetish, it might be a different kind of kink, but it's just it seems to us that, you know, we can't get around this whole escaping from our sisters, because we might understand that, okay, if we find something else out there that, you know, we hear a lot about, okay, they don't have the attitude like Black women, they don't have the things that we've dealt with growing up from our mothers and our sisters and our cousins. It gives us an exotic release, an exotic escape. So that's why you got a lot of these passport bros. They'll go around the world because they're looking for something as far as more of a passive woman, somebody that will let, you know, stuff slide. This might be something to where we're just looking for the type of woman that will allow us to be on our shenanigans. You know, we want to be that international player. We want to be able to have different flavors from all across the rainbow. But it seems like the system is setting up a trap for us. And we're in this hypersexualized society in this country, and with social media, it feels like as men, you know, we're already pushed to make the wrong decisions because we want that exciting young girl to make us feel alive. But with white women, it feels like we're at an ultra uber level of status. Like, you know, you ain't made unless you got a white girl around your arm, right? And I don't know, a lot of Black men, they might have that deep rooted type of fetish or fantasy, but now it's getting to the point to where there are people like Tony Busby that are targeting us every day, because now we're like, okay, they can take advantage of that male tendency to date outside the race, and then the Black male tendency to seek this status, this release, this escape from Black women. You know, and a lot of Black men, you know, of course, we're getting worn down with what society is telling us about Black women. And it's like, okay, you know, what do I do? What do I do? Do I either go outside the country or do I date a white woman?
Okay. So I heard a few things in there, Steve. I heard escape. I heard exotic. I heard passport. I heard release. I heard what we've been through with black women. I heard a few things. So if I had to summarize what you said, why do brothers date white women? If I had to summarize it in 2 words or 3 words, what would it be? Release? Would it be escape? What would be the 3 words or 2 or 3 words to summarize what you just said? 2 or 3 words.
Escape from perceptions.
Escape from perceptions. All right. Carl, why do brothers date white women? And look, y'all, if y'all want to reveal if you've ever dated outside your race, you can. You know what I'm saying? It's totally up to you. I'm gonna ask my lifers, don't beat nobody up.
I would.
You know, he gonna jump on. I'm sure you watching.
I mean, to even ask that is to suggest that we are static, right? To even say to pose the question is almost to say that it's like speaking from a definitive place to say that the reason that we do it is to escape or this, that, or the third, or to say that we are even confined within our race and our culture. So I think what's his name? The names went away from.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that was Steve. Go ahead. There you go.
Who? I guess Brooklyn boy. I'll just use him as an example because so the part of Brooklyn where he's from is a predominantly black area, and I lived there for a period of time, but now. Was I for? Am I good? Am I still good?
No, you came back, but yeah, Brooklyn boy, that's Sean. So you can call him Sean.
Yeah, okay. So the part of Brooklyn where he's from is predominantly black. Best I do or die. And the part that I am currently, I wouldn't say it's predominantly white, but Park Slope is known to be where families are. I guess you could say it's kind of white-ish and or white culturally leaning. I'll just say that because it is somewhat diverse. The only reason I say that I'm only bringing these neighborhoods up is because it's the same as anything else in that just because I'm black doesn't necessarily mean that I'm defined by my cultural affiliation.
Okay.
So you also said that I have no problem admitting that, of course, I've dated white women. I've dated all sorts of different nationalities, dated black as well. But I think it comes down to the individual. It comes down to how do you view, what is your blackness to you? And how much of an affinity towards the black community and black culture do you gravitate towards? Or how much of that do you carry on to you? And do you consciously and subconsciously, how do you step into that? The reason I'm saying this is because Steve mentioned that for some guys, dating outside of your race is an escape. Being a passport bro is an escape. So you could, I guess, soil your royal oats in so many words, right? Mm-hmm. Well, that is you're only as aligned with that is what you believe. So to me, it's not taboo dating white women. To me, it's not taboo to date in my personal level. But at a macro level, I understand why it can be seen that way. And to kind of piggyback off what Steve was saying, because of Western culture, specifically here, and you'll see it in Europe as well, but specifically here in the Western world, there's always going to be some implication behind it. Now, we can go to other nationalities, especially living in a city like New York. You'll hear there's certain implications between East Asian dating other East Asians. You can look at it across the spectrum of different cultures: Jewish culture, Muslim culture, East Asian, Middle Eastern. Everybody has everyone has their tier, for lack of a better term. I don't want to go too far, but it's just a lot that you can say about it. But I'll try to stick to the point. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's taboo. I think that I can't speak for every guy. I can speak for me, and I can say specifically to kind of touch on Steve, is it an escape? No. But there is, because I'm an open-minded person, because I don't have exclusive I'm not exclusively aligned with the Black community in the stereotypical terms. I don't see why I can't or why I shouldn't date anybody else. But that's in my world, right? Now I also understand Dr. Umar Johnson.
So just to answer the question, it would be, why do black men date outside their race or date white women? Your answer would be because they can. Because they have the option, they have the right to. There's nothing really stopping them
simple.
or
to keep it simple, because there's a lot I could talk about, but to stay on course, yeah, because we can. Now the reasons why varies, but again, that's a whole. Maybe we'll dive in. We'll go down those lanes different, but or a different time, but because we can.
Okay, Sean, give me your answer. Why do black men date outside of their race? Or if you want to go specific, why do black men date white women? Well, I know. First of all, come off mute for me, Brooklyn. Come off mute. Now I know you, Sean. I know some of your background. So let me just pose you the right question for you. Why do black men date outside their race? And you can tell us who you've been known to date over the last 10 years.
Sure. So today's time is different than the past. That's the first thing I'm gonna say. So I'm 48. So I don't know how the rest of the fellas are, Dave. I know you.
I'm over 50, 51. Right. Yep.
90s, 2000s, different time. Okay, I'm trying to wrap this. Okay, so you have two different types of black men.
Okay.
You have your deeply rooted culture, black culture. They don't know much about anything else but black culture. That's not saying they're not familiar with other cultures. What they know better than anything is black culture. And then you have some who haven't been anywhere within that same box. Black, 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 black. Then you have those, which will include myself, who've traveled the majority of his life, who've lived in multiple places, multiple states, multiple countries, experienced multiple cultures. And even from a business perspective, you're exposed. Like, for example, me, I'm exposed to a lot of different things. So I've dated white, Asian, Hispanic. My current girlfriend is Hispanic. Eskimo back in New York. Because New York, we've got every single culture. Indian, West Indian, of course. I've dated so many cultures. Now, there was never a specific, okay, I want to do this for just to prove a point or because I hate this or that. I got into an argument with a girl. David knows this story. And I got an argument with a girl, and she was upset because I said I wasn't dating black women at the moment. Now, this wasn't but maybe 7 years ago. So I'm 40, again, I'm 48. I've been dating black women my entire life. And then at the same time, majority of my life, I've always lived in black environments. So at some point I became exposed to working and living in different environments. And then my view was, okay, I'm okay with dating this girl. She likes me. It's cool. It was never a fetish, nor was that particular person dating me was a fetish. Now, there's so many questions. There's so many questions to ask around that because some people date for business reasons. Just like one black guy might date another black woman she's a surgeon. Okay, he's in the medical field as well. You know what? That makes sense. Or let's just say, I want to get into the agricultural business. I want to be somewhat of a farmer. Okay, well, my girl, her family owns veggies and bodegas in Mexico. Okay, dope. That makes sense. So it's not always a fetish type of deal. Sometimes you just vibe and your particular goal aligns with what their goal. They're attractive. You're attracted to them. They're attracted to you. And it kind of works. Now, that's the black versus the black who's kind of a bit more cultured.
Okay.
Now, this situation is a little bit different. And I may speak solely from myself.
Well, hold on. So you going over to the Shannon Sharp thing right now?
I'm jumping right there. If you need me to.
Not yet. So okay. just make sure, because I'm going. I got somebody new that came to the stage. First of all, welcome to the stage, Florence. I see you, Florence. Welcome to the stage.
Okay,
to the
I'll round
stage.
this out. But basically, typically, the reason most black men,
Yeah, because the question for Florence who just joined, for
Okay.
everybody who just joined, the question I asked the men is why do black men date outside their race,
Right.
or if they want to go specific, why do black men date white women? So
Right.
you have dated Hispanic women over the last 10
Yes.
or so years.
Hispanic, white, Asian,
Why?
Indian.
Give me an answer as to why.
Great. The reason why, the main thing was, apart from me liking them, was getting along. I didn't have to fight. I didn't, and I'm hoping this question comes up. I'm approached with this question, but didn't have to fight. The relationship.
Can you be specific? I'm sorry. Can you be specific?
Yeah.
Because what I want to get at is you didn't have to fight. You didn't have to argue. You didn't have to prove yourself. There was no toxicity. What do you mean by I didn't have to fight?
I didn't have to prove myself.
Okay.
I didn't have to prove that I was something more than what I am. The person was not okay with me being okay with what I am. And some people are going to laugh at this, some people may not. I couldn't afford to stay where I was. I didn't make enough money to stay in that bracket or in that environment. So I reached out to something different where money doesn't matter. It's about, who are you? Are you a good dude?
Okay.
What's your family lineage? Where do you come from? Values. So I kind of lean more towards that because that's typically what I was raised at, going from being a kid living in Brooklyn to living in Spain to Portugal to, that's how I was raised. That's how I always treated people. So when it got to the point where that wasn't the case, like I went to Bowie State University. It gets no blacker than that down the street from Baltimore. So yeah.
So I think I got the gist here, at least for you, Sean, is you said you didn't have to prove yourself.
Yeah, that's a big
well, first thing you said was outside of being attracted to other people. Because look, I'm gonna say this real quick for everybody that's joining. I'm definitely not here, and I don't think anyone on this panel is. But if you are, y'all could just state your claim, and then we'll have to just talk about it. I'm not here to beat up black women. That's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. So, and I don't think anybody here is doing that, right? Because I don't hang with guys that do that. All right. Now, we may have an opinion, and that's fine. If your opinion is, hey man, I dated outside my race because, dag, I ain't have to prove myself. That's fair. That's an opinion. That doesn't mean that all black women are going to test you, but it does indicate why are black men, going elsewhere. Right. And then what I really want to know, and this is what I put down at the bottom, is method or madness. Like, are black men doing this because there's some skill that they're trying to obtain, or there's some plan that they've put together? Or are black men just saying, man, look, I'm just going for what I think is fine? Or are black men mad? The ones that go after, because, and I'm having a hard time with my clips here. So I'm gonna play this one clip. I think it'll let me. But the issue I had with Shannon, and I'm gonna play it because this was funny to me. Yeah, all right, I'm gonna play it. So the listen to this. Now it's gonna be some. It's AI, right? It's AI. Oh, come on, y'all. This thing is not wanting me to add stuff to the stage. All right. So look, it's AI. I'm just going to play it. Now, the animation, don't get thrown off by the animation. The animation is AI, but the actual recorded conversation is real. This is the second conversation Shannon Sharp had with the young lady that he's going out with, the young lady that is accusing him now of sexual assault and rape and is suing him for $50 million. All right, so that young lady, and if I can find a picture, you guys, then I'll bring it up. I think I can find a picture. Yeah, I'll bring it up a second. Listen to this audio. Just listen to this. This is a real phone call.
You're coming to LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Daddy.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
I might choke you in public. Big black guy chose small white woman.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you do what you think you did to me. Well, what?
So they got the horror movie music behind it. They playing it up. But basically, when he came in and said, "Big black guy chokes little white woman," that's when I had to pause. I said, "Hey, man, what is with this fetish that I keep seeing that, you know, it has to, whenever a black man is dating a white woman, he's normally a buff big dude and she's normally as thin as a rail. At least maybe that's my perception. But I'm like, what is with that fetish, stereotype, image? What's the deal with that?" And so that made me think, well, why are these brothers going after these skinny minis, these rails? Is it because you see Jonathan Majors in the middle? And I'll try to find, like I said, I'll try to find these individual pictures. But that's Jonathan Majors and Grace Jabari. Grace was a dancer, a movement coordinator. She's thin as a rail. Jonathan Majors was in Magazine Dreams. He was buff. He was, you know, Kang the Conqueror. You know, Creed 3. Even in the movie Sinners, Michael B. Jordan, buff. You know, he played a character named Stack, and his love interest was Mary. Mary was petite, and Mary was of white heritage and of mixed heritage down the line, but she lived her life culturally as a white woman. And I'll say that's all I'm gonna say about the movie because I don't want to spoil it for those that haven't seen it. But my thing is, well, yo, what's the deal with brothers? And somebody said with a big, thick nose.
Technically, she's petite in height, but she ain't frail. She ain't thin either.
Haley Steinfeld?
No. I'm talking about the girl with Shannon Sharp.
Okay.
I just say that.
Can you get to me and the ladies to pose the question?
Absolutely.
Please, thank you.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, Yvette, since you asked, Yvette, why do black men, now, mind you, this is from a black woman's perspective. It's from a lady's perspective. So this ain't what the men think. This is what the ladies think. Yvette, why do black men date outside their race and specifically white women?
Okay, I'm going to say there's a couple of reasons, but one is access.
What do you mean?
Access, you know, when you are cultured at a certain income level, there's a different type of people in the room. And when you are not cultured or you're not on that same income level, that's a whole different set of people in the room. So therefore they can't mix, because if I'm up here and you down here and vice versa, there's going to be a lack of understanding. If I'm saying and you're not moving together because your interests are not the same. If I know about investment or he knows about investment and I know nothing about investment, I just know spend, that ain't gonna work. So access. The other is sometimes escapism. Somebody did mention that. You're running away from a life that you may have not liked. It embarrassed you. You were embarrassed with the way you were raised. So you decided to create a whole new world for yourself, and it wasn't with anything that looked like you. So you escape that world. And then some of it may be the whole taboo, because I can date outside my race now because I can. And also the arguments, I don't want to say arguments, like you said, you don't want to beat up black women, but black women have been known to sometimes be unrealistic. But I'm also going to say it depends on the way you were raised and where you come from. Because if you haven't been taught better, you don't know better, so you can't do better.
Okay.
And if you don't seek better, you never get better. Period. I'm done.
So you think there's a little bit of credence to the idea that maybe some black women might push black men away, like what you were saying with if you don't know better, you won't do better.
Right. You know, if you just don't know how to love on your man,
Yeah.
You know, because some people think love language is let me argue all the time so we can make up the breakup, make up the breakup. That's just a headache. I have a headache right now. That's a headache. Just even thinking about that. Nobody wants a headache. It doesn't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So why am I going to do something that doesn't make me feel good? Nobody wants to be living in that life. You only get one life to live, and you want to live it being happy and fulfilling it and being enjoyed with somebody that you're on the same yoke or almost at the same place. You know, that nobody wants to struggle in their life.
Sean, I found a picture of her. That's that's Gabby Zuniga, the 19-year-old, now 20-year-old that's suing Shannon Sharp for $50 million.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Zenos. Go ahead, bro.
Why are you saying her last name like that?
What's her name? Zuniga.
Why you trying to Arnold Schwarzenegger? Nah, man. Say the name as it is, man.
The name is Zuniga.
Yo, I wasn't ready for that one.
Sound Mexican. Sound Mexican.
Nah, that's not Mexican.
Her name is Zuniga. Dang.
Nah, that's something different. That's not Mexican. He might that might be some German.
I found that girl from Argentina, man. She's Mexican.
Mexico. All right, hold on. I gotta get to the ladies. You know, so you did come in after your cousin. So all right. Where's she at? There she goes. Florence. Let me take you off mute. I'm gonna put other people on mute because I'm getting an echo. Oh, there you go, Florence. How you doing? Welcome to the stage, Florence.
Thank you.
And in fact, where are you at? Here we go. Let me get next to you. Welcome to the After Dark podcast. I think this is your first time, right?
It is.
All right, we got a new lifer in the building. Florence is a new lifer. All right, so Florence, on this show, we have grown-up conversations. You can say what you want. Just stand on it 10 toes down. Don't attack nobody. Don't bully nobody. But if what you say is controversial, say how you feel. As long as if you're discussing a topic and not attacking a person, then we love it here. All right, so it's a safe space. You got the floor. You got 3 minutes. Why do black men date white women or outside of their race? Florence.
I almost seriously just listened to the conversation thus far. I'm so over it. On one level, I feel like that's not a question for me to answer. That's a question for the people who make that choice to answer.
Right.
But I really have a reaction when it's these blanket statements about women or assumptions about how people love or what healing needs to happen and all these different things. It's y'all need to answer that. And also, why you like them so young too. That's just weird to me. It's disgusting actually to me to have this fetish around really young teenage girls. That's what they are.
Yeah, that just to jump in, that was the second part that I was going to get to, right? Because first I'm like, why do these brothers date outside their race? Then I was going to get into the size factor of why does it have to be big black guy chokes little white woman, number one, and then number two, why she got to be 19, 19 or 20. That's quite young. But continue. I didn't want to interrupt. You just jumped into my second part, but go ahead.
No, it's fine. So I'm also just filling out the space and what people are about, and just what is happening here and what kind of conversations y'all are really trying to have.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So here's the situation. It's an open conversation. It's a grown-up conversation. I'm a black man. I'm married to a black woman. In fact, my wife is down there on the bottom. Hey, baby. That's my wife, Destiny. All right. I love black women. I have messed with non-black women. I won't say dated because I was never a boyfriend to I was never a boyfriend to a white woman. I've dated Hispanic women for sure where I was their boyfriend, but I was never with a white woman, oh yeah, that's my girl. No, but mess with, slept with, yes, I've done it. But my entire life though, I've always preferred, chosen, and wanted a black woman. And so I found my black queen. So I'm not gonna let nobody beat up black women. That's number one. But I do want people to be honest about how they feel. So if hey, if Carl like white girls, tell us, Carl. Steve, if you have dated outside your race, tell us. Sean, if you like Hispanic women, because Sean, this Negro speaks Spanish. This nigga, he don't even, it's fuck America. Sean go straight to South America.
Hey, look, if they get wicked, I'm good.
You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't, but see, at the same time, though, I know my friends, and I don't think anyone here hates sisters. Because I don't like that, I don't tolerate that, you know what I'm saying, and just bashing. So it's an honest space, Florence, but it's a safe space. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Why you said that like quite a bit, that you're like making it like you don't want to bash Black women. Is there a reason why you feel like you have to reiterate that so much?
Yeah, because on my show in the past, I had a sister that felt like if you say anything negative about Black women, you're bashing, and she took it personal. So if I say, for instance, I prefer a woman with natural hair, I don't like weave, and I don't like eyelashes, she took it personal. Like, oh, you talking about all Black women and us? And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm saying what I don't like. So I just want to make it clear that as a Black man with a strong voice, I want to make sure people understand where I stand and what my show's about. That's it.
Welcome, Florence.
Thank you, Yvette.
All right. So, Susie, why do Black men date outside their race? And specifically white girls, if you want to go there.
Because it's been glorified. And it's not all Black men. The men that are a part of a certain culture, all Black men are not the same. So certain men, the Black men that are a part of like music industries, rap industry, drug dealers, possibly, I don't know. There's a certain kind of culture that glorifies white women or anything that's foreign, even the cars, even the clothes and the women. So, I forgot what was the rapper said that nobody till somebody shoot you. I don't know. I'm not a part of the culture. I identify as Black. I don't identify with the culture because with the culture comes a lot of ignorant stuff at times, but there's also a lot of entertainment. And the Black men that are not a part of the culture who date white women, they just find them attractive, or they feel they could have better conversations with those women that they feel like are more equally yoked with them. And with those Black men that are not a part of the culture who date white women, their white women usually look different than the white women athletes date, because they're actually dating those white women for certain substance, certain characteristics that are not purely physical. What else? Hold on, I had to write it down because I was listening, so I didn't want to lose my thoughts. Like I said, the foreign thing. Sometimes, programming is real. Like they programmed a lot of people to believe that Black women are difficult. That really is not the case. And if it was, it's not a one-way street. Like Black women don't want to be treated bad all the time, like pieces of property, like ass and all that stuff, like by Black men. I've dated outside of my race before because I just wanted to try something different because I felt trapped and forced to have to date Black men. I never thought about dating outside of my race until they kept telling me I had to date within my race. I was like, what is that about? I was like, why is this even a thing? This is something I never thought about before, like actual racial lines. I was just purely dating Black men because that's what I wanted. But then all the hoopla came and, oh, you have to date this and you can't give up on the Black man and all this crap. I said, you know what? Now that I think about it, there are other options. There are white men, there are Hispanic men, and I see how they treat their women. I want to see if I can get some of that and see how that feels. Because what's shown to me, or what I see, is white men, from what I see, pay attention to what I'm saying now, don't beat me up. What I see is white men treat their women better. What I see is Hispanic men treat their women better. So I went over there to see how I'd be treated, and I was treated better. Like I didn't have to earn good treatment from other races. I didn't have to work for it. I was not assumed guilty before I spazzed out. I was not assumed to be. Go ahead.
I want to jump in because that's the same thing someone else said. They said I didn't have to fight. Sean. So just want to make that point. Okay, so that's on both sides of the coin. Go ahead, continue.
Yes. So it's just, I did get treated better, but like this push, this trying to put people into a box thing. And I do understand that some men date white women to spite Black men, but really, who gives a damn at the end of the day? You know, just stop talking about Black women while you're dating your white women. Make sure you have a lawyer on, what is it called, Des? When you have that lawyer you already paid for on retainer. Make sure you have an attorney on retainer when you date your white women, and keep Black women's name out of your mouths, because all Black men are not the same and all Black women are not the same. So they need to take it easy with that. Enjoy yourselves over there. They have the right to date those women. We shouldn't have anything to say about it. Just keep us out of it. That's how I feel.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, and the young thing, let's be honest, okay? They date younger women because, again, the glorification of things. When they talk about, a lot of the music you hear, even the Black women talk about how tight their coochie is and all this and all that. Well, who would have the tightest coochie? Like if you're just
That's
thinking,
also a myth. It's a myth. I didn't
Lord
know
have
what
mercy.
to say. It's a myth.
I didn't know he was going to talk about coochie tightness. Lord have mercy.
They ain't got no
I know, I
mouth. They
knew
just
that
came
was
off the line.
coming.
They ain't got no
Dave,
mouth.
sir, Dave, you do know this happens from time to time.
And that's the reason I put up the picture, right? Because even though this is AI, this stereotype that we're looking at, you know, big Black man chokes, you know, little white woman, yo, man, that's real. People are out here living like that. People are out here fetishizing and BDSM. There's a headline that says that Shannon Sharp was with this woman in a sadomasochistic bondage relationship over 100 times. That's a headline now that's out on Spiritual Word and everything else, that he got with this woman over 100 times on some BDSM. So it's a fetish and it's real. And I'm going to let everybody finish with their answers. But I do have an opinion on brothers need to be very careful, because, you know, if you're with a woman that's your age that wants to have role play and bondage, that's one thing. You with a woman 30 years, 35 years your junior, and she's a white woman, and you from the Jim Crow South, and you sound like you from the South, it could be construed to all types of things that aren't good, even if it is just adult fun. And then don't get with the wrong woman and that woman flip on you. Because now, as a Black man with that entire image and that entire stereotype applied to your accusations, now you're in deep trouble. Because, you know, you're on tape talking about, I'm gonna choke the hell out of you when I see you. And then she's like, I don't want to be choked. You ain't got no choice, Philip. What?
If anyone on the call, like, you know, you're into that, do you all do disclosures or like sign off on things before you engage in it? Some kind of like, I'm giving consent so it can't come back and bite you like this has?
Zeno.
Your cousin is trying to make me spit out my wine. He's
My man's prepared. He's like, look, I'm prepared for this conversation. I got
he's damn fool.
I got contracts.
Destiny, what's up, Quell? We're gonna get to you in a second. Destiny came on, and then we're gonna come to Xenos, and then Quell. Why do black men, babe, date outside of their race? In your humble opinion?
I mean, I'm sure there's multiple reasons, but I think the biggest reason is probably because, like, I feel like in our country, like in our society, white women are the standard of beauty, right? So anything that comes close to that is deemed more acceptable, right? So Black women are the furthest from that. Like, we're all the way down here, whereas like Spanish women, Asian women, they all fall in here somewhere, right? Because they're closer to that Eurocentric standard of beauty than we are. And then you could talk about like texturism and different things like that, featureism. But I think it's just because white women are the standard of beauty. So I think a lot of Black men see white women as some type of like status, like, you know, like, okay, if I date a white woman, I'm dating the standard of beauty. And I know that there are many reasons why, like, I know that there are many reasons why some Black men, that might not be their reason, but I think that's the overall reason.
But are we brainwashed like saying that white women are the standard of beauty.
Yeah,
I mean,
yes.
that's what the media would put. Because look, y'all, I'm over 50. All right. I remember back in the 80s, Maybelline commercials was nothing but white women with skinny lips and they were
Yes.
slim models, you know. But you had the pointy nose, the hardly no top lip, no body at all, just skinny. And that was the standard. Maybelline, Playboy, it was the same thing over and over and over. Now all of a
Until
sudden,
Mix-a-Lot came out with he liked big butts.
it's what you blaming Mix-a-Lot.
Sir
It's
Mix-a-Lot.
almost like I'm sorry.
Programming. People still think
It's like
he's
you
white.
That one song did it.
It's like you
Red
have
beans
to
and rice didn't miss her.
Hey,
it's
well,
like you have to deprogram yourself from thinking that way. And it doesn't just affect Black men, it affects Black women too. Like, that's where we talk about featureism and texturism and, oh, she has good hair and, oh, she has light eyes. Like, all
yeah,
of that is a Eurocentric standard of beauty. So anything close to that is going to be perceived as more beautiful.
you say it all the time, babe. Proximity to whiteness.
Proximity to whiteness.
Yeah, yeah. But but because of the advent of hip hop and videos and all of that, now like Yvette said, now white people are more wanting to look black. Like back in the day, they wanted tans. Now they
That's
want
true.
full lips, BBLs, high cheekbones, and if they could, they probably would get kinky hair. Right. So you got the one side that's saying proximity to whiteness is beautiful. And now you have the other side that's saying proximity to blackness is beautiful. Right.
Mhm.
So now that's why I'm saying, how do we end up with with Jonathan Majors, going for a slim white girl? How do we end up with Shannon Sharp going for a slim white girl? To me, it has something to do with the South. It has something to do with that image of white women being the standard back in the day, and it might have something to do with white women being taboo. And maybe some people feel like, man, I'm gonna go get everything Massa tried to keep from me. I'm free and I can do what I want. And the best way for me to stick it to the man is to stick it to his daughter or his wife. And some men may think that. Go ahead, babe, and then I'm coming to Xenos.
Yeah, and I mean you're exactly right. There's a lot of us that have rejected that standard of thinking, right? Like I feel like from the time I was in elementary school, I feel the colorism stuff and all that a lot less now than I did when I was a child, which isn't, it was about 20 years ago is what I'm talking about. So I feel like a lot of Black people have started to embrace Blackness more, a lot more in the coming years. But I feel like there's still a handful of us that still has not rejected that thinking. There are still some Black people that, they subscribe to that way of thinking still.
Yeah, that proximity to whiteness is that white is right, basically.
Right.
Xenos, talk to me about why some Black men may date Black women, white women, and tell me, is there something to the fetish? The fetish of, oh, I'm gonna get everything that was taken from me, everything that was borrowed from me. I want to dominate this Master's wife, Master's daughter, Master's little cousin, or whatever. Is there something to that? Because when Shannon Sharp said big Black man chokes little white woman, that ain't the first time I heard those sort of sentiments in media, right?
Hey, stay off those sites, man.
Huh?
Stay off those websites.
It's not just websites, brother. It's in main media. First
Listen,
of
man,
all,
y'all put me to sleep tonight.
here he go.
One of my favorite movies is The Matrix. And what's his name? Dang.
Neo?
Neo. Not Neo, but Morpheus. Morpheus says to Neo, free your mind, Neo. Y'all been drinking the Master's Kool-Aid, and I can smell it on your breath. Listen, first off, ain't nobody worried about massa. Okay? David, why do, let me ask you a question. You answer me this question, then I'm answering your question. Just real quick, answer me this question. Why do Black people like to steal and murder?
That's not a Black thing.
Okay, so then why do we keep saying, why do Black men like to do XXX? That question in and of itself is tainted.
Wait a minute.
So let's hold on.
But it's not tainted when I see.
Do you see black people murdering and stealing?
Yes, I do.
It can't be both ways, David. So listen. Everybody on this earth, take this tonight and let it free your mind for a minute. The earth is full of variety. I see light-skinned black people. I see dark-skinned black people. I see tall black people. I see tall white people. I see short. I see fat. I see skinny. I see dumb. I see smart. I see eloquent. I see people that can sing and dance like Beyonce. I see people who can't do either like myself, okay? So with that is variety. So with everything that we have in this earth, you're going to have different reasons why people do different things, okay? The brother that grew up around nothing but white people is going to like white girls. He ain't worried about massa. He speaks a cultural language that's going to be received by that subset of women, okay? The college football player at Ohio State, he's getting more white draws thrown at him every weekend. Is he going to go and search for 2 or 3 sisters on campus when he got 40 white girls chasing him every week? Niggas lazy. Men are lazy. Let me say it like that. Men are lazy. Ain't nobody chasing poo nanny when it's getting thrown at them. So black men date white women for different reasons. Black women date outside their race, inside their race for different reasons. When we see a black man dating a white woman and we try to label him, we're foolish. We don't know his story. We don't know where he came from. We don't know anything about that relationship. Then how are we describing dating? How are we defining dating? Are we talking about just smashing? Are we talking about the fetish? Are we talking about relationship, marriage? Because all those things are motivated by different things. First of all, look at what this girl is wearing on the internet.
Yeah.
So
I mean, she's an OnlyFans model. She's an OnlyFans model.
Okay. So she's already going to attract a type of guy that's trying to get something from her.
So being an OnlyFans model at 19 does not absolve Shannon Sharp, who's very rich, very successful podcaster, Hall of Fame football player. It does not absolve him for being a 55-year-old man going online and looking for a 19-year-old white girl.
Well, the biggest problem is the age. It's not the race.
No, I agree. It's age, and it's also her mindset. If she's an OnlyFans model, then you want a hoe. You looking for a hoe, Shannon. And if you are a millionaire and a Hall of Famer looking for a hoe, you are susceptible to hoe tactics.
Well, that's different than dating, though.
No. I know, but I'm saying he messed up because hoes are gonna try to hoe. They're gonna try to take you for your money.
Yeah, why y'all fall for that?
Don't say y'all.
Because
technically,
y'all.
We like
she threw a grenade in the room and walked out.
Right. She threw a grenade and sat there and looked. I'm gonna see what these niggas talking about.
Technically, he didn't know she was an OnlyFans until after they started. Because remember, they met in the gym.
Bullshit.
They met in the gym.
Okay. Hold on.
Men don't mind paying for shit sometimes.
I want to see this land is playing. but I want to say this.
This one. He met her in the gym.
He meets her in the gym.
Okay. Then at some point after that, he finds out she's an OnlyFans girl, but he keeps going.
That's my point. You don't have BDSM. You don't have BDSM and slavery talk or whatever the hell he was doing in his bedroom 100 times. And not know that this woman is getting money on the internet for showing her coochie.
What I'm saying is, in the beginning, it wasn't like he was like, let me go find a OF girl. He just happened to run into one. And for example, when I go to not LA Fitness, 24-hour Fitness or Equinox, they're everywhere if you know what to look for. If you don't know what to look for, you just see a hot chick who's got a nice little body. But of course, you know me, personal trainer, I know exactly what I'm looking at the minute I see these girls. She could be looking like she's working out, nice body, this, but if she got a fresh face of makeup, I know what she's here for. But Shannon, he knew what he was doing. He knew she was young. Then he finds out later that she's an OF, and then he keeps going. This is where it goes wrong on his side from the age perspective. Now, what he's into, That's some other stuff.
I want Zeno to land this plane. Why do black men date white women?
Variety of reasons. Number one, let's get back to Shannon. Let's get back to what's my man's name that got fired from Marvel? Right there in the, what's his name?
Jonathan Majors.
Jonathan Majors and Shannon Sharp. They have mental problems. Okay, let's just start there. The biggest sin in the United States, it's not racism, it's not sexism, it's greed and power. Once you get a certain amount of power and wealth, you think you're untouchable. Okay, so we can see that from the president. We can see this fool in the White House. I said it. Come get me, CIA. We can see this fool in the White House talking about blah 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 and all this and all that. DEI is why the plane crashed. Come on, man. He's full of it, but he's getting away with it because he's got power. He's got money. He's jerking Congress with a leash around their neck as he does stuff the president's not even allowed to do,
right?
Because he's got power. Okay.
Yep.
Now, when Jonathan Majors and Shannon Sharp, when they get this leverage, this money, they think they're untouchable. They may have a problem when it comes to white women, because the thing that allowed Shannon to tell on himself is when he said big black man. First of all, if you talk to people in interracial relationships, if you talk to people that really like a different race or date outside their race or date whoever, regardless of race, they don't ever talk about the race part of it. It's not as important, because just like a person's looks or personality, once you get used to the way a person looks, it's not as important. You then start to deal with their personality, their character, and those sorts of things. So for Shannon to bring up the race part, it showed me, yeah, he's got a problem. He's fetishizing this young girl.
There you go. It's still a fetish. It's still a fetish.
Got a problem.
So listen, y'all. If a person loves the person that's outside of their race and they want to be with them in this love, hey man, do you? You're right. You should love, like Carl said earlier, right? Hey, if that's what the man's attracted to, I'm not restricted. I should be allowed to do whatever I want. I have no problem dating outside my race. I'm with that. If you love, you love. The fetish sizing becomes the problem, like Zeno said. When you are Shannon Sharp and you know good and dang on well you're a Hall of Fame football tight end, and you know you're a big dude at 56, and you say big black man chokes, white woman. And then listen, even if y'all are role playing, I'm gonna choke you when I see you. And then she's like, and she took like a 30-second pause. I don't want to be choked today. And he was like, you ain't got no choice in the matter. See, he didn't pick up on the fact that little girl, number one, that little girl was recording. Number two, that little girl might not have felt like being choked. Because you see, this is the problem. You got to know when they are saying, hey, I'm not in the mood. Because you could have just choked her 5 days out of 7 at her choice. And on day number 6, she don't feel like it. And he think he's still role playing. You gonna do what I say. Man, let somebody record that and flip it. And now you're having to take a leave of absence from ESPN, and you might $50 million, and you might be looking at jail time.
But why are some fetishes okay and others aren't? That's weird.
This situation though, Susie, I'm not gonna say any fetish is okay when you're dealing with someone that doesn't love you and that could flip on you.
And you still got to be careful when they love you, because see, everyone, you always speak of knowing your person. At some point you have to be vulnerable. If you're in a relationship, you got to be vulnerable and trust the person that you're with. But if you push them to the limit, they take all that information and use it against you. So you really have to be careful no matter what you do. You have to know your position too. If you are in a high power position, your secrets need to just die with you. You need to just take all of whatever you do, your fetish or whatever, to your grave. Don't share that with anybody. And definitely don't talk about it on the phone, because people can be recording you. You never know. So
how can you engage in your fetish if you don't share it?
Say it again, Susie.
How can you engage in your fetish if you don't share it?
Well,
with someone?
it's a dangerous game. Fetishes are a dangerous game, right? And someone said it earlier. I think it was Florence. Are these brothers getting an NDA and a consensual contract that says, yes, I'm consenting to being choked. Yes, I'm consenting to being whatever. And the situation is, no, they probably not. Because who in the moment of about to have sex pulls out a contract and says, hey, hold on now.
50 Shades of Grey.
Before I bite your neck, I just need you to write down consent and you're consenting that I bite your neck. Before I eat your groceries, I need you to consent to me eating your groceries.
But when
If
you're
it's
in
a
a certain
sex worker,
caliber,
you need
that
to
kind
do
of
that
is how
straight
it
out
is.
the gate. A lot of
What?
these men get with sex workers. So straight out the gate, when you're dealing with a sex worker, you should have them sign an NDA, just like these predators have been. It's the smartest thing to do. Protect your assets, protect yourself. That's not someone you love. This is a sex worker. She's about to do some sexual acts for you and with you. Sign this contract just like any other employment or contracting job. You have to sign the documents so you know the terms of whatever the hell you're about to engage in. That's smart. Shannon doesn't seem to be very intelligent.
Yeah,
That's
but
just R. Kelly's not even intelligent. Didn't he give out NDAs? I don't remember. One of these people who were just caught up in something, Diddy, I think, they give out NDAs. They know,
R.
everyone knows
Kelly,
what they're doing.
R. Kelly and Diddy had NDAs, but
But
in
an
at
ND
least in at least Diddy's case, babe, I'm gonna let you talk because you're the lawyer. I'm not. But in Diddy's case, at least the drugs were applied and people were unconscious and didn't know what was happening. So that will override any sort of agreement that was agreed to. Once a person can't consent and they not conscious, God forbid, then that NDA don't mean nothing to But go ahead, baby. I'm not a lawyer. You
that
explain
was
that.
my exact point. Your NDA is not going to protect you from sexual assault. Like if somebody feels like you sexually assaulted them.
So here's my question to the people on the panel. Shout out to Quell. Quell, welcome to the building, man. Quell, he's been patiently waiting. He's a lifer. So thank you for watching, Quell.
Yo, what's happening? What's happening?
Hey, Quell, let me ask you this, man. Man to man. Bruh, I know you're a married man, so this is a hypothetical. But what do you do when someone consents and then flip it on you in a court of law and say, I didn't want him, to touch me. I didn't want him to bite me. I didn't want him to strangle me. Then
I think that you have to assume, and I said this early on in my relationship. You got to assume the worst about people, and people think that this is a bad thing, but you got to assume human nature will eventually take its course. That people can hurt you, that people will lie to you, that people are capable of doing dastardly things to you. Does that capability and willingness and actually doing it are two different things. I think that's what we're kind of mixing up here. It's like, look, all of us are capable of murdering someone. All of us are capable of doing dastardly things, but do we act upon those things? No, we don't. So I think the one thing though that I don't that I'm hearing too is we're adding class to people who we don't even know who have class. Just
what do you mean?
because
What do you mean?
so Shannon is a football player. Like, what qualifies him to actually have class? You know what I mean? Like he played football. He talks about football. He talks about sports for a living. He talks to people about it. So I don't assume just because these people are actors and celebrities that they have class.
When you
And
say class, are you
That's a
saying
great
more?
point.
Are you meaning morals? You saying like moral integrity?
yeah, I don't assume that they are that they, because look, most people are opportunists. They do what's available to them. I'm agreeing with the brother Zeno. Uh, People do what was available to them at the time. Most people don't date within their race because sometimes the population dictates that. Sometimes the morals dictate that because I'm from the South, man. It was a couple of brothers that was able to get with some white girls, but a lot of times a lot of them wanted to be with. I'm from North Carolina, so a lot of people wanted to be with what looked like them, and it wasn't common to see interracial things. I think we're dealing with more. We have more of a human issue than a race thing, man. This is more like people don't know how to interact with people as people. And this is what we're dealing with more than anything.
Well, let me jump in, Quell, because this brings up a great question, right? When we look at Jonathan Majors, all right, Jonathan Majors, showing him on stage right quick. Boom. Where's that? There it is. Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors was King the Conqueror.
Mhm.
He had just finished Creed 3. He was working on Ant-Man and Quantumanium. He was the new Thanos, the big villain in Marvel.
Right.
This brother was on top of the world as an actor. He had just finished Magazine Dreams, which is amazingly crazy. Maybe power went to his head, because if you remember his diatribe, I need my Coretta Scott King. I'm an important man. I'm doing more. And don't get me wrong, he was an important and is an important actor, especially at that moment, because he was at the top of the game. But maybe he thought himself bigger than what he was. And maybe he thought, I'm that man. So guess what, little white girl? You're going to do what I tell you to do. And if I choke you, if I hit you, I hit you. Maybe that was what he was on.
I don't think
Shannon was on.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it goes back to my point before. It's like, look at Jonathan Majors. My wife made this point about him and
Grace.
Him and what's my man
Megan Good.
No, Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, Michael B.
They wouldn't
Jordan.
have been, like, if they didn't have fame, they wouldn't have been the first people you pick. Like, they're not like the dream guy.
Hold up.
They don't have fame.
I got to jump in though, and I'm gonna tell you why I got to jump in. Michael B. Jordan, he got into his big tiff with one of the reporters, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I was corny, right? You said I was corny." Like, he got on her like, "Yo, you said I was corny in high school." He was a little bit miffed that this woman had called him corny back in the day, and that bothered him, and he used his fame as a way to kind of attack that. Jonathan Majors played sports in high school, and if I'm not mistaken, in college. Jonathan Majors got accepted to Juilliard. Jonathan Majors, when it comes to his craft, was the next Denzel. He was that guy.
So what I'm getting at though.
But I'm saying before. Hold on, but this is what I mean though, Susie. He was already hella talented before we knew who he was. Michael B. Jordan was a slow burn. Jonathan Majors was a skyrocket.
So I guess what?
Not really. Michael B. Jordan was started years ago when, like, the soap operas, Ryan's Hope, I think it was.
He was, but I'm saying he wasn't quote unquote sexy until he played Killmonger. When he was in Black Panther, he's sexy. But real quick, Quell, Jonathan Majors as a football player was probably getting women. Jonathan Majors was already a buff dude, and when he played in Creed, he got bigger and he got stronger, and of course his Hollywood thing went viral.
So I guess my overall arching point is
he was on the way.
When you look at, like, just think about in high school and middle school, a lot, and matter of fact, you could even go to the NBA. Look at a lot of those cats in there. Most of those dudes aren't attractive guys. If they didn't make it to the NBA, if they didn't make it to the NFL, they wouldn't have been getting the women that they get. So the thing that I'm saying is that opportunity is to me is why some people pick what they pick, because they have the chance that they wouldn't have had if they didn't have the fame and the power. So Jonathan Majors picked what he picked, in my opinion, and Shannon Sharp picked what they picked, in my opinion, based off of the opportunity to be able to get those women.
Like I said, access.
Let me jump in real quick. This what he's saying is 100% accurate, because if you think about what's the football kid that I think he came from Deion Sanders' crew.
Travis Hunter.
Right. Look at his girl. Look at Travis Hunter. Do you think he was able to get that before he was who he was? Jonathan Majors, same thing. Well, the Jonathan Majors is slightly different because he went to Juilliard, so he has access to a different type of girls who are not so much hung up.
That's kind of what I was saying, is that he was talented. Forget his
not
nose.
Even talent. It's the environment that he was in. His environment that he was in lends him to be around girls who are not so much onto what you look like, but more of where you going.
Mm-hmm.
What is your? Are you this nice guy? I promise. Before Juilliard, he was playing football, and if you've been on any college campus, I was not only did I run track on campus, but I was also a coach. And
Yeah.
I can tell you this: we had very few white girls on Bowie State University, but the ones that were there got sucked up by the football players. So
Yeah.
when you talked about all the other universities, white girls, football players, basketball players, it's almost synonymous. So
I had
to
to
him,
mute.
that
I
makes
had to
sense.
mute you, Quell, because of the. I had to mute you because of the echo. But Sean, I want to make a point.
Yeah,
Athletes in high school have always gotten access to the girl because
always.
it's a physical thing.
Yeah,
Actors, quote
very
unquote,
different.
very different because it's a slow burn. You got to do something, and
Mhm.
someone says, "Oh my God, I saw him in this play. That cat's amazing."
Not
I
so
saw him
much.
in this
Hold up.
movie. That
Let
cat's
me.
amazing. Like actors ain't nothing until they do something. Football players, basketball players, they
Okay.
get to do stuff in high school
Right.
before they get to become
Right.
professional. So they become the man in high school. But
Yeah.
actors, slower burn.
Yeah.
Nerds,
Can I
But
jump
slower
in?
burn.
their access is different, and it makes sense where Jonathan Majors ends up because my cousin, for example, half of my family are married to, excuse me, either more than likely, probably white women. So my
Mhm.
family is very well mixed. So my cousin, he's the only one who went into acting and directing. He does some directing out in San Diego. Every girl he has dated after high school was not black because his environment changed. So now all of a sudden, when he's doing acting school, he's doing screenwriting and all these different things. The women he's around most of the time are not black.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying with Jonathan Majors. Yes, the football aspect of him, he had access to all the girls, but what he was doing and specializing in gave him access to a different world. So it didn't surprise me
That
that
he
he was
dated
able to
outside of his race.
right. Whereas though you got Shannon Sharp, that's slightly different. Yeah,
Real
football
quick.
player, he has access here and there. Go ahead.
Real quick. So Kenny Kincaid, Kendra, she said, not Aaron Pierre, God is good. So
So
let me tell you something real quick, Kendra. And this is not Kendra G, but Kendra R. Kendra, Aaron Pierre wasn't Aaron Pierre until he got out in front of people. If you don't have a stage, you ain't gonna pop as an actor. Football and basketball gives you a stage, sports gives you a stage, Sean, as you were saying. Sports give you a stage early for you to get in front of people. And regardless of your intelligence or anything, it's all about your physical ability. Actors, nerds, scientists, they got to win you over. Poets, they got to win you over with their mind, not their body or their physical prowess. So what I'm trying to say is a slower burn is for actors. But once Jonathan Majors does Creed 3, oh, he's fine. But when he was doing the movie with Spike Lee and Chadwick Boseman, when he played like the son-in-law, he was a weirdo. Oh, who is this weird skinny joker? But he does Creed 3 and he got a body. Oh, he fine. See what I'm saying? So once you have to cross over that ledge. Once you cross over that ledge, because I remember they were calling a man gay because he had roses in his mouth on the cover of Ebony. They were trying to call him gay. You
Have
know,
we seen him with black women before, short of Making Good?
we haven't seen with nobody with Grace Jabari before Making Good. Go ahead, baby. Sorry.
so just a couple clarifying questions. So is the access that you're I'm sorry, sir, what is your name?
Sean. It's Sean.
Sean. Is the access that you're speaking of, is it white women? Like what are we talking about? Because certainly there are black women in the entertainment space. So I'm just to clarify so I can understand your point.
Yeah. So nowadays, um, you have more black women in there. But if you go back to your
Okay.
90s, your 2000s, you didn't have a lot of black women going into the acting world. You had some, and typically you could say, "Oh, she's this type of black girl," or she's probably the quiet girl. She wasn't with the cool girls. It was always that. But nowadays, you have more variety of black women who are going into that world. To your point, but back when he was doing it, the
Jonathan
majority of, right, the
Jonathan
majority of women,
Majors.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So back when you were talking your 90s, 2000s, 9 out of 10 times, it's probably an 80-20 split, 80% white or anything else. That's what I mean by that. That's all he had access to. For example, most of my cousins, some of my cousins who lived in Virginia, they went to schools like Chantilly and Centerville that were 90% white, but they were football players. So all they had access to or their environment were white.
And
So
the game was different too, though, based off of social media being involved. So you
right, it
wind
was
up
also
having
on social media. That's
Mhm.
right. Yeah. So Jonathan Majors, he came up in a time where there was no social media, so he didn't have access to.
How old is Jonathan Majors?
He's got to be what, 40 maybe, late 30s. Anybody know?
I could look it up.
I'm not sure, but I'm in agreement with you. That's why when I said access, I too come from a TV production world. And when Tiger Woods was married to,
he's 35.
35.
They joking 30 for your age.
yeah, when he was married to the woman that chased him with the golf clubs, I remember I was doing the Disney Golf Classics, and on the first of all, a lot of times I would be the only black in production, so I had to answer for everything black in the world, like why they dance like that, why they move like that, and that worked my last nerve. But the
But do
second,
they only date who they work with? Like, what about where they live? I
Proximity.
mean, working with people is one thing, but that doesn't determine where you live. Like, he could be going to those schools where there's majority of white
I'm
women.
not talking about school now. I'm talking about career and life. That's why I said access. If
Yeah.
I'm on the golf course and I'm making 100, 200, $1 million for swinging a club, there's not a whole bunch of blacks in there with $1 million. Then, and I'm not living in, boondocks no more. I'm living in a $500,000 and up household and neighborhood and community. So therefore, the access in that community, pretty much where I work at now. It's like, you're down here in Florida, Boca. What is in Boca?
White
All right?
people. Well, other
But
than that,
Jonathan Majors is only 35. So in the 90s, he would have been 10 years old. So I'm trying to figure out.
So we'll say 2000, but even 35. Okay, so even
He
the
was here with
35
he was
range,
here with me.
there was still a time where there's no social media. Even when he was in high school, there was no Instagram.
and that's what I was saying. He
True.
was still around black
was
Because he's
women.
only 5 years older than me. So I'm trying to figure out. So
Right.
in high school, we had Facebook. We didn't have Instagram. So
right.
But it wasn't instantaneous either, though. You got to think about how slow Facebook came around, where it was only certain things you could do. It didn't have the same features. So I guess think of it like this too, though. Think about how we dated compared to how they're dating now, and the things that they're doing now. Like, things are totally different on how people do, how they meet, what it was required, and it was a lot tougher because a lot of your interactions had to be face to face, and you were going based off of, okay, I'm dating based off of what area I'm in. And even now, like, you got to think about, most people don't leave an hour radius outside where they live to meet people. Most people do not, like, they complain about what's around them, but most people haven't left an hour radius, and they're getting recycled people. They're getting they're dealing with the same people that everybody else has dealt with.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. So, and to your point, yes, he's a little bit younger, but still, my nephew's 30 years old. But when he was in high school, there still was only Facebook. So you're right. It's having access to a larger variety of people, because let's say if you're, I'll probably say 30 and over, the only people you really had access to was within your region. Unless you were a real internet kind of person, you get on like what was it, AOL Connect or something like that. But for the most part, you had probably something within 20 miles, give or take a few. You didn't really travel too much further out that, nor did you have computer or iPhone access to any of that stuff. Unless you were in college and you were on a football team, then, yeah, you would go to, or any type of team, you would go to a different university.
I think we're giving too much credit. I think in some of these spaces we're thinking like men too much. I don't think women put as much emphasis on looks as men do on looks, because if you don't have to be on the football team. If you just got a little personality, a little swag, that's all it takes. So
Yep.
I think as men, we chase these reasons why some girl might have rejected us. Well, I didn't play football. I don't have money. That's maybe you just didn't have the game at the time. But when it comes to, we're not in the same category as Shannon and
Did
Majors.
Shannon
We're just
put
not.
looks? Did Shannon put looks on point when he grabbed this skinny little girl right here?
Listen, Shannon's
No.
deranged, man. Shannon has problems. See, again, because they have the money that they have, they think they can pick and choose what they want. They think everybody wants them. And in this case, it wasn't the case. And the other thing is, for a guy like Shannon, if you don't understand white culture, you don't need to mess with white girls.
That's a fact.
And you know, I was.
What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean?
Well, I'll
What does
tell
that
you what
mean?
that means.
That's
If you don't know anything about white culture, and I've dated a few, you need to understand before you even start dating this girl, you got to go figure out what type of family she has.
That part.
What does her grandfather think of other cultures? You know what I'm saying? Then when you're in the relationship, now you got to pay attention to social cues when you're around them. Are they doing stuff just to kind of be cool with a black guy?
But
or
you
are they
can't
being
pick
themselves
up.
and-
There's one reason why I don't like dating, or not that I'm dating, but there's one reason I don't do the outside of America thing.
Okay.
Is because I can't tell what your social cues are as easily as I can with an American. So if all you know is black, Shannon Sharp, black, I get it. You play football, you have some white girls come after you. That still doesn't mean for Shannon that you understand how to read white culture. You got to understand that when you're on the phone and she says, Shannon, I don't really want to see you. He should have hung up the phone. Like, so
But that should have been the thing, regardless of her race.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
just,
absolutely.
you know.
But when people say, well, white girls, you know, they're more laid back, they're not as aggressive. I'm like, have you dated one? Because that's some BS right there.
Yeah.
A
That
woman will
part.
give you
It's like
problems.
this whole little mythology around what
Yeah.
people think it's going to be like to date
The
someone just because
perception.
they're white. You're not going to have the same issues that you might have with anyone else that you're in
And
a
just
relationship
because
with.
she doesn't do it the same way black culture does it, doesn't mean she doesn't do it. And so that's the problem. That's why I was coming at earlier, is that you have to understand how white culture, not white people, because you can be white and hang out in black culture. You can be black and hang out in white culture or Hispanic culture or Asian culture. But if you don't get the cultural cues, you're setting yourself up to be hoodwinked. So leave them alone.
I agree.
I think our experience too influences how we view these things. I think that's why I remember whenever I was coming up or whatever, like I wasn't necessarily the most popular guy or whatever, but I still had some type of charisma and character about myself, but I wasn't confident in a lot of things. So it limited my opportunities based off of me not being able to articulate myself and me overthinking. So I think a lot of times what happens is, I think a lot of times the little boy or the teenager is still living in these people, where you don't get over those heartbreaks that happen, and you go to certain things because this one bad experience I had with a black woman, or I had with the white woman, or I had with this person, makes me like, oh, I can't deal with this no more because I keep running into this. And you don't associate it with a personal issue. You associate it with a race. You associate it with a type of person. And I think that's where a lot of these issues come in, and we make it a race thing, but it's a lot of internal issues that we have to deal with within ourselves.
That's a fact, and that's with everything.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. You got it. I'll come back to you.
Just real quick. And when you think about it, to your point, Quell, you know, that's the same thing we as Black people ask society not to do to us, right? So just because there are some Black people that are criminals, there are some Black people that are ignorant, or even Black women, like the girls that are twerking or whatever, just because you got some of them that are doing that is not indicative of us as an entire group, right? So when you say something like, well, Black women are angry and Black women are ghetto, and it's that and the third, you're doing to us what you're asking society not to do to you.
Exactly. And
Now,
I want to make
understand
a
that
point.
if I could say this real quick before I I get that. The thing that I've learned to do over time too is that, look, man, we can't control what the narrative that people wind up having of us. I think that if one of us is doing great, I think all is a reflection of all of us. I think if each individual we take our time to put our best foot forward, and to make sure that we're putting our best foot forward, and I think over time the narrative can change, but we will never change people's mind about what they already have in their head. So I think that's what I've always gotten away from, because it's just like, look, man, people look, if people are racist, they're going to be racist to the day they die. We'll never change that. We'll never change racism. It'll always exist. And unfortunately, I think it's a better thing for us to start changing the way we talk to one another, we view one another, and start building with one another, because at that point, then who cares what white people think, or Asians, or anybody else? It only matters when we learn to treat each other with dignity and respect and honor.
Facts, well, nicely put. I'm just going to piggyback on what you just said. My motto is I treat people the way I want to be treated. So if I don't want to get yelled at, I'm not going to yell at you. If I don't want to be dismissed, I'm not going to dismiss you. If you need an ear, I'm going to listen. I would like to try to get my point across without having to, do a whole bunch of hand gestures. So I don't want that in return. So I basically try to treat people the way that I want to be treated. I want the same respect that I give you, and I would like to have it back. But as far as relationships, and I just think that we are put in boxes and stereotyping each other. And nobody here mentioned, I think somebody did mention earlier, but what about just straight out love? If you just love some person, that's your person. It doesn't matter what color or nationality or where they came from. If they treat you well and you love them back and they love you, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's and that's the thing I had to explain to a lot of people. Like, for example, my girlfriend's from Mexico. And if you want to talk about when it comes to the race game, Mexican Americans, fairly normal. But when you go into the deeper parts of Mexico, just like if you go into the deeper parts of the US, you're gonna run into some racism. And for me, I've seen it being out there. I've been with my girl 2 years. In her family, I don't see it, but what I do see is when they experience me, her family, the elders in the family, when they experience me, it's always oh, okay. And then they start asking a whole lot of questions, even down to the kids. They start asking, okay, so why does this happen and this happen? They become curious when they finally see something that's different than what they see on TV, because most people, what we have to understand, not just other countries, there are parts of America who will never meet a Black person in person.
Mm-hmm.
Places in Canada, like I've told the story before. One of my ex-girlfriends, she's Canadian, she's Black, and her mother were on a train out there in some remote area. White lady walks up to her and lifts up the back of her jacket, and she's like, "What are you doing?" The lady is like, "Where's your tail?" There are people who have never physically met Black people, so the only thing that they know is what they see on TV. And we all know what TV shows them. But it's not until they actually run into you and you start talking, they're like, oh, so you don't, and they want to know more. They're curious now.
Yeah, you ain't and jiving. You ain't doing what I thought you was gonna do on TV.
Right. They're expecting, right. I'm sure when my girl told her daddy and her mom, I met this Black guy, he's coming to dinner. They're probably like, oh, okay, but when I showed up, the first thing her mother did was, because I was dressed nicely, looked good, she walked up, I stood up, introduced myself in Spanish, of course, and her mother was just like, oh, okay. Like,
well, you speaking a language.
Well, yeah, it was broken at that time. Like, now I'm fluent, but at that time, it was the fact that I was trying.
I made the effort. Well, look, yeah, Black people having tails is diabolical. That's some 1800s.
But
that's 18.
In Canada,
like we still damn marsupials, or
But this part
And
of
look,
Canada that
I
like
live in
that.
Wisconsin now. So I've been here 5 years now. So a lot of things I never thought I would live here, but it's a lot of times people ask certain things here, and it's like, man, why'd you move here? And you know, isn't it this and isn't it that? And so a lot of people, we only know what we hear about things. We only know what people only know what they hear about it. So everybody, they don't think about the fact that, man, there's hurricanes in North Carolina like that happen almost half the year.
Yeah.
And it's humid. And it's like, man, I said, look, I'll deal with your snowstorms and all that stuff. I don't want to be flooded out half the year and have to, all my stuff get destroyed. And you walk outside and it's 95 degrees and 115 with the heat index. Like, nah,
Well,
like
I want to jump in because I want to play. For those that haven't heard it, I'm going to play the original audio of Shannon Sharp and Gabby, as Zeno said, Zuniga. I'm gonna play the original audio of them too. This is now I sped it up because this young lady pauses for 30 seconds before she responds. She sounds kind of slow or high or something. So I got it on recording like she's premeditating. Okay, you're right, and I'm gonna go ahead and play it because I sped it up, Sean, just so we can get past the 30 seconds of pausing between every response. So this is on 1.75%, and it might still sound like she's moving slow, but just listen.
I don't know. Anything I say, you're just gonna like get mad at, and you're just gonna hang up on me. So I feel like
I'm not gonna hang up on you. Here's what it is.
what does that even mean?
Nothing yet. You want to be a dick to me now, so
I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me.
I don't know that mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm gonna fucking choke the shit out of you when I see you. Thank you.
Okay. Well,
wait a minute. I'm just jumping in. It sounds like she's being coached. It sound that even at 1.75%, she's pausing for 20 seconds in between. That's what I'm saying, Steve. If it sounds like somebody in the room, because as soon as he says, I'm gonna choke the shit out of you when I see you, and then she goes, and you hear like
someone's in the background coaching her and also recording just in case her phone get taken.
Right.
Something happened to her phone.
Something is going on where she's pausing unnaturally. Now, granted, maybe she was thrown off that he said, I'm gonna fucking choke shit out of you. But when you see a headline that they have had BDSM, which is bondage and sadomasochism, moments at least 100 times that people have spoken about and said he's been, it don't sound like if y'all play bondage games and role playing and I choke you and you do all this kind of stuff to me or whatever, it doesn't seem that if I say that on a call, you're going to pause for 40 seconds like you're taken aback, like, oh my God, he just said he's going to choke me. No, that's how y'all
a
be
lot
talking.
of Gen Z speaks, though. That's just, especially the girls, that's very normal. They're just they exaggerate a lot of things for no reason. They talk slow as if they're slow, and a lot of them are intelligent, but that's just the way they speak in that generation.
I've heard that too. And having said that, I'm gonna rewind it 20 seconds and I'm just gonna play it. I'm gonna let it play at normal speed. But I've heard that too, for sure, Susie, that's how some of this generation and some of the generation talk like that, like, yo, bro. Yeah, like they do talk like they on something. But let's just play it. This is at regular speed.
Thank you.
Okay, see.
Don't manipulate me.
I don't know that mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm gonna fucking choke the shit out of you when I see you. Thank you.
Okay.
That's mad space.
Somebody's coaching her.
Well,
Mad space.
Don't do that.
She being coached.
I don't.
Mad space, Susie. That ain't normal.
That's like Tony
You know what?
Busby.
Hold on, listen.
Well, I don't want to be choked.
It took her 50 seconds
Yes,
to
you
say,
do.
I don't want to be choked.
Yeah, she was either texting
I don't
somebody
think
or
you have a choice in
somebody
the
was.
matter.
Somebody was there. She
Yeah,
was being
that
coached.
was a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody
That
was there.
that was a lot. That was a lot, right?
Yeah,
And why
yeah.
didn't Shannon Sharp rush her to say anything though? Is that how she always talks, or like I don't know? Why didn't he? I don't know.
You
That's
know,
weird.
listen, I'm gonna be real, right? Shannon is probably super busy. He got ESPN First Take, he got Nightcap, he got Club Shay Shay, he got all the arrangements and the deals you got to get done in between filming, all the bookings. That man is probably working and waiting on her to respond. Because if he's been with her 100 times and it's been on some sexual stuff, he not thinking anything more than that. He gonna be like, look, when I see you, we gonna do what we do. I'm gonna pull
But
your
he was
hair.
trying to take her out. Isn't that what he said? And she said she didn't want to go out.
That's the second video. Let me play the second video. So the first video, go ahead, Yvette, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I sent you a private text, but I gotta go because I didn't tell you this earlier. I got selected, and I'm supposed to send him a copy of my audition, and I'm sitting up here talking to your butt. So I have to go and do my audition.
You got to do audition tape. Okay, Yvette.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'll talk to you guys later.
Yvette. Thank you for joining.
All right.
Yeah, we had a few people that had to go. I love you too, Yvette. We had a few people that had to bounce, so we just gonna shut it down in a second. I just wanted to play this tape so that people could hear the final. I'm only gonna speed this one up, not 75%. I'll only go like 1.5, so you can hear some of it. 1.25, so you can hear some of the spaces. All right, here we go.
Well, you're coming to LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Daddy.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah. I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
It's almost like he being sarcastic.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you did with the shit you did to me.
He already mad.
Okay, well.
All right, so I'm gonna pause right there, right? If you're dealing with a transactional female, that's like, yo, it's all about the money. Give me the money or whatever, right? When you're dealing with a transactional female, they're gonna have those attitudes of, oh well, if you don't want to see me, then I guess you're not gonna get none. Or if you don't want to pay me, it's a blasé type attitude. It sounds to me in the second video, the second audio, that Shannon and her have had some sort of disagreement, some sort of rift. He's mad at her for whatever she did to him. And now she's like saying clearly, like on tape, I don't want to be choked, and waiting on him to say something egregious. I feel like that second video was her for sure trying to catch him up, get him caught up, right? Trying to line him up. The first video could have been her lining him up also, but the second one for sure, because to me, it almost sounded like he was laughing. He was like, I might choke you in public. It seemed like he was being sarcastic, like, be serious. I know what you're doing and I'm not falling for it. But those words are on tape and those words can still be used against him. I know that he did try to settle with her for $10 million, which is another reason people are saying that he might be guilty of something, because why would he try to settle if he's not guilty? So some people are using that potential settlement against him.
Technically, and the wife, you can let me know about this one. There's a lot of just kind of go away settlements. You know what I mean? When people got X amount of money, they're just like, you know what? just to kind of save face so this doesn't go public. Here, take whatever. It's not worth the headache.
Michael Jackson settled because his lawyer said it's better to settle than to go to trial. And he's like, I ain't do nothing. They were like, just settle, Mike. He settled. And then everybody thought it was guilty
Diddy
because he
settled
settled.
as well. He
Diddy
went and
settled.
paid it out.
But
Oh,
Diddy, but
Oh,
Diddy's his mistake was she wanted money before the lawsuit. He
Right.
said
I'm
no.
sorry, I was wrong. He didn't settle the first time. When
He settled
should have.
after the lawsuit came out.
Right. He tried to come after. By then, it's too late. But no, let me tell you what's happening here. He's caught up. I can almost guarantee this. He thinks he's still role playing. And what's happening is when you got girls like this, and I've dated some of these girls, they know how to flip that switch to where what you thought it was,
it's not.
We're not there anymore. Like I dated a girl. We would have this one running joke, and I was playing until one night until I learned that her responses were changing. Now it wasn't nothing super graphic, but the way she responded was like, no. Funny thing was she was actually white too. It was like, no. And I caught it right there. I said, all right, let me just leave it alone. And then we kind of finished the conversation, and that was that. He thinks he's still role playing. So I bet you they were playing big black guy. Okay, you did something bad. I'm going to spank you, choke you, blah, blah, blah.
And that's why he said it. That's why
Right.
Because that was almost like a headline. He just jumped out with a headline. Big black guy chokes little white girl. And I'm like, oh, this Joker think it's a game. But but the problem is the way the law is set up with consent. It ain't a game as soon as she say no. So it don't matter. It doesn't matter what y'all were doing.
Right.
She flip it on you, even if she on purpose is trying to get you caught up.
Yeah.
She flip it on you, then you need to stop what you're doing.
I got a question. Des, is California, because Shannon Sharp lived in California, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where this girl lives. Is it or is it not illegal to tape without the other person's consent in California?
I don't know if California
Not
is a
sure.
one-party state. I'm not sure.
Okay. Because if it is illegal, all this is getting thrown out. Am I correct? Is that right?
That's a good question.
Because
I don't know. I don't know. I don't
suit.
know. Just because it's illegal, I don't know if it would be
Mm-hmm.
if there's an evidence rule that would bar
Right.
it from coming in.
Because I know in a criminal law, in a criminal situation, I think it would stay. But for a civil, I'm curious as to, because you're not charging me criminally, you're just going after my money.
Well, Sean, I mean, I'm concerned that it won't turn into a criminal suit.
Oh no, it's going to turn into a criminal suit because she's not going to stop there. Because now she's going to get attacked.
This is my problem. This is my problem. My problem is we saw Diddy and Cassie.
Mm-hmm.
Cassie threatened Diddy with a huge suit.
Mm-hmm.
Diddy said, I ain't paying you nothing.
Mm-hmm.
The very next day, they go public with all of the gross accusations. And Diddy says, give her whatever she asked for, when he could have just did that the day before.
Correct. I know where you're going. Go ahead.
So my thing is, this woman might be looking at that. Now, I'm not saying that Cassie was lying. I think Cassie was telling 100% of the truth. But if you get a woman that's lying, but she has you in a precarious situation because you're on tape saying, I'm gonna effing choke you. You're on tape saying, I'm going to do these things to you, and you ain't got no choice. This woman could be lying about assault, and it could still go in her favor based on the precedent of the Diddy Cassie tapes.
It'll go in her favor. It doesn't matter if she's lying about 99.9%. That conversation can be twisted because of how she spoke on that phone. So regardless, he's going to be seen as this big dude. She's going to be seen as this little baby, even though she's not a baby, but technically, 1920, she's a very young girl. Bad look. But they're going to see her as this little itty bitty girl. And they're going to put it as, oh, she was doing this because hoping to make some money for whatever reason. He shouldn't have been here. and they're going to say that she can be afraid for her life because of the size difference. So I'm going to go with your point. I think there's going to be a criminal case that's going to come up behind this, because the way that she's going to be attacked, she can't go nowhere right now. She can't leave her house. That girl is locked into that house, because if she goes anywhere, she's going to be harassed. She might, there's some ignorance among our community that's going to get at her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
but usually, just to kind of chime in, usually the criminal suit will predate the civil suit. So if they're going to go forward with a civil suit, usually that would come first, because the civil suit is going to do all the work. And then whatever was kind of like proven at that civil trial, you just take it over to the civil trial, like the OJ case. There was a civil suit. I mean, there was a criminal suit, and then there was a civil suit. So I would guess in this case, there's not going to be a criminal suit.
You don't think
I feel like that would have came first.
You don't think it would get picked up later on?
Only reason I say no is because everyone is of age.
And it's time sensitive too. When you talk about sexual assault, you kind of need to gather evidence quickly.
And because she's already in that particular world and there's history of that, of their actions, I guess, the legal point probably wouldn't. It'll be he might have a better chance on the criminal part, but for the civil part, he's going to lose that.
Yeah, because the standard of proof in a criminal case is higher. So he would probably have a better chance.
And that part is very disturbing, because you could be in a consensual sexual relationship 100 times. You're with a woman in a BDSM relationship 100 times. And on the 101th time, she says, I don't really want to be choked. Whereas she always says she don't want to be choked, because that was the role play. That was part of the game. I don't want to be choked. Well, you're going to be choked. Daddy don't.
Because that's how they talk to each other.
You're going to listen to daddy. I'm going to do it. Or whatever their role play was. I'm just throwing adjectives. But imagine if you do something 100 times with somebody that is lewd, that is, dirty, that is unseemly in public, but y'all are both consenting adults and you happy to do it. And now on 101 times, she's saying, I don't want to be choked. And you're like, well, you ain't got no choice in the matter. Like you said, Sean, he's still playing the role. He doesn't understand that this young white girl just flipped it on him.
Well, and
he's unaware. And now he may have to pay. And here's the funny part, Sean. This lawsuit comes out the day after he's awarded a $100 million podcast contract. The day after.
Timing. That lawyer, Busby, he knew what he was doing. And this is the one he said, I can't get Jay-Z, but I can get this one.
I can get Shay Shay.
And see, the thing is, it's the unfair advantage. I hope the ladies don't get it. This is the unfair advantage of guy and girl. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter. You could have done this 1,000 times. The minute she hesitates, pause, wait, you have to
the line
right
is not in your favor. The law is not in your favor.
The law is no longer in your
favor.
If she hesitates, well, no. That she could have said no 1,000,000 times, and you guys were playing. But
And
that
Sean,
one time she said no.
Look at the optics. It's not in your favor because you're a man.
No.
It's not in your favor because you're twice her weight and twice her size.
He's about 3 times or so.
It's just not in your favor, no matter how you
slice
slice
of black men.
That's what I'm trying to say.
No chance.
He should have known. He should have known better.
Yeah, he's got no chance. I mean,
Say again, Steve.
I said he would have had a chance if he was light skinned.
Okay. Yeah, he had a little bit of a chance. You're right. But no, he's the darkest of darkest. I'm talking backwood, North Carolina, chitlin eating. You know what I mean? Like, he's got no chance. Luckily, this is civil. Give up the bread. You're going to lose some stuff. You've already lost ESPN. Disney's not going to fool with you. Figure it out. At least you're not in jail.
Well, Fenton, shout out to Fenton. She said, how did Busby know that she was connected to Shannon Sharp? Well, I mean, listen, hey, she could have
She
came
told
to
him.
Busby.
Yeah, I was like, she told
Yeah.
him.
She
She
told
probably got
him.
him a long time ago. Said, "Hey, I'm with this dude. It's not going the way I want. I feel like I was tricked into doing something. He took advantage of me because I'm young. There goes the wheels start turning. That dude Busby, he's a pro at this. He don't
He
always
ambulance
get it
chased.
right.
Yeah, he
All you got to
ambulance
do is
chased
get it right once.
one time. Yep.
Is
Yeah.
there anything that have been done to you guys or any men that you guys know, like during sexual encounters? Is there anything that women do to men that they're not always comfortable with?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I've never heard this. Please share.
I'll give you a high school thing. Dated this girl I was dating, whatever. This is back when we used to throw the hotel parties. Do you remember those? Hotel party, whatever, late night, hot and heavy, both of us drinking, blah, 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 get into it. And at one moment I thought I heard the word, okay, stop. But I wasn't sure. Music is up. And then I heard it a second time. And I was like, wait a minute. Did you say something? And she's just sitting there just kind of looking like, and I was like, and I didn't know what to do. I froze and I was like, okay. And I just kind of just stopped. And for the next 5 years, I had to sit back and wonder what happened. And is she going to come after me and said I did something? Because we had done something plenty of times, but in that moment, she said there was a hesitation in there twice. And then from there, she kind of hung it over my head a few times. Well, you know that last night was a crazy night. You know that night was wild for me. And, sometimes I don't know what to think about it. My first thought was, okay, she's just trying to say, are we together? But then it dawned on me, it was like, wait a minute.
What is she trying to say? What is she trying to say?
About that hesitation, that thing. And for the longest time, I had to sit there and say, okay, let's see what this happens. Because it doesn't matter.
I got a spiritual moment. Baby, close your ears. This is back when I was singing.
In the streets.
Earmuffs.
No, back in outside of college. I was, had a moment with somebody. And I could have sworn I heard this lady say, I want a soul. In the middle of having I was like, I stopped cold and I was like, what did you just say to me? She said, I said, I want more.
You heard the word.
That does not sound the same.
Now I'm in West Bumble F, Georgia. I'm an hour and a half away from my mother's crib.
Mm-hmm.
It's dark. It's late at night. It's our first time together. And I hear, I want a soul. This is what I heard this woman say. It paused me. And when I said, what did you say? I said, I want more.
Mm-hmm.
I went, hold on, give me a second. I need a moment. Why are you stopping? I said, I need a moment. Hold up.
Mm-hmm.
I started thinking. I was like, yo, what is in this wine glass? Where am I at?
Where you at?
How far away from safety am I? I was like, this woman crazy. I came in through the basement door.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who's in this house.
Mm-hmm.
It's dark as hell in these Georgia streets.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hey, she was like, what's wrong? What's going on? I said, you know what? I need to go home. I'm starting to have some regrets, but this is moving too fast. She was like, I'm having a good time. Why don't you stay? Nah, you know what? Let's talk about this tomorrow in the morning. We probably need to slow it down. She was like, you're messing up the whole mood. I said, I'm gonna go. I left. And Sean, I went. Corey G, been on the show. This is like fresh in college. I came back to my mom's crib. I told Corey G, I told my brother Hank, I said, yo, man, I think I just had a strange experience where I feel like whatever this woman had going on, whatever demon she had going on said something to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I know what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
And she tells me she didn't say that. Now I didn't, mind you, I never said to her, I thought I heard you say.
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt like it was something spiritual trying to come after me. And I felt like I need to get out of that house and get away from that situation quickly. And and listen, I got myself right back in the church, rededicated my life, and was on fire for God for the next 10 years. Like, yo, that scared the mess out of me.
I've ran out of a girl's room, out of her house in Mexico because of that. I was just getting into being out in Mexico by myself. Same deal.
She wanted your soul too?
She had this vibe, and she kept saying, I need to look into your eyes. And it felt like a Black Widow type of thing.
Yeah, man.
Fell asleep, got my shoes on. I tried to go out the door. Skirt. We going home. Out. Put the track wheels back on.
because you know, as a man like Shannon Sharp or whomever, right? You might feel like, oh yeah, she feeling me. I'm that guy, you know. But man, when you start having spiritual moments and it feels like maybe this woman is into some witchcraft, or maybe there's some supernatural thing going on that you can't control, or there's some criminal aspect where you're like, yo, I'm over here in the hood messing with this hood rat. I don't know who in this back room. You start thinking about everything. Hey, Steve, I'm not Steve. I don't need to go into detail. But do you remember one time I called you and I said, yo, I'm over here. Here's the address. It feels very strange. And you were like, dog, if it feels strange, get up out of there. Like, Dave, it ain't worth it. And it was a very strange moment. You know, listen, man, you don't want to be off in the hood and they got your car blocked into a cul-de-sac. You know, you driving a nice Mercedes and ain't nobody over there got a Mercedes. You stick out like a sore thumb. You don't want to be that guy at 4 a.m. and they be like, hey, playboy, where you think you going? It can turn, it can turn real quick.
Well, have there ever been like someone you guys are actually like dealing with, and you do things with occasionally that you don't want to do all the time? Like, has there been like this, like Shannon and this girl?
Yeah.
Like, obviously choking is a thing. That's you, Sean? What was it?
Choking was one.
You being choked?
Well, I wasn't really into it. She just started choking me. I almost punched in the face. Almost swung on her. And then I was like, all right. And she was like, okay, choke me. I'm like, girl.
And that's a problem because
scary,
women aren't used to a man saying, hey, wait a minute, slow up. I'm uncomfortable. Oh, you bitch ass nigga, shut up. They just expect for you to just receive whatever they pull it. And yo, you might really be like, yo, I don't want to be choked. Hold up. Hold on.
She right? Two of these. But then she was like, choke me. And I'm just like, you're too small for that. She was like, no, do it. And I'm like, I might hurt you. I don't want to. Because let's say I did it. She's lighter skinned. She get marks on her neck.
It's a setup, Sean. I had somebody ask me to slap them in the face and spit on them.
Oh, sir.
It stopped the whole session. I was like, I'm good.
You better go.
No, I said no. I don't hit women. It's during sex. I don't care. I don't care what it is. No, I'm not laying my hands on you. No. Baby, you're not being. I'm like, nah, that's the see. And see, I'm the wrong guy. No, don't.
I will do that. That's different.
What'd you say?
That's allowed.
I will slap some ass. That will happen. I'm a firm believer. I will take you up off your feet if need be.
But do y'all understand how it can be flipped really quick?
100%.
You know,
but that's something I don't like, but I allow sometimes because it seemed like the slapping of the ass thing. I hate that. Like, why are you hurting me? I don't like that shit. But sometimes I'll allow it, but I don't like it. I hate that shit. But you know how many times I've like let it slide, but they can't see my face because I'm just rolling my eyes like, God damn, like why are you?
So Susie, I got a question.
That is strange.
This is kind of tongue in cheek. But we talked about signing NDAs. You don't tell your partner prior, hey, listen, I really don't like my butt slapped. Like I don't. I know you might get it.
So sign this NDA that says you're not slapping my cakes.
All right, well, I wouldn't have them sign nothing because then it probably ain't gonna be no sex. But like I will tell them even during that I don't like that. Like I don't like it. You're supposed to be making me feel good. Where y'all get this psychotic shit beating on each other and spitting? No. What happened to pleasure? Pleasure me. Let me pleasure you. Do not inflict pain on me. And I will tell them I don't like it. And they'll be like, you like that shit. And I don't want to ruin the mood. I don't like that shit. But they all talking sexually.
Let me tell you this.
Yo, you better be honest. Tell that man. There are
far more wild, crazy, freaky women than there are guys. Because we know we got some limits. Not that we're not into experimenting, but we got to get the permission where a lot of girls, they'll just take off on you. Like, this girl choked me, hit me, and I'm like, you about to get, wait a minute, this ain't sexy. Like, what you doing? But she got off on that.
Sean.
Yeah.
You've been bit without consent?
Oh, that's normal.
Yeah,
I get bit all the time.
Listen, y'all, my wife is watching. My wife is watching on the show, so I can't go as crazy as I used to.
Well, let me do it for you.
But can I say this respectfully, baby? I had a woman when I was single bite my lip.
I don't like that.
It like bit the hell out of my lip. I said, hey.
What you say,
I said, hey. She said, stop being a baby. I said, you drew blood. She was like, it's not sexy if it doesn't hurt.
See, that's that shit right there. That's what I'm talking about.
Hold on. So in a later session, she bites the shit out of my chest now, like a chunk. I'm like, Sean, I do not hit women. I've never raised my hand to a woman, Sean. She bit the shit out of my chest so hard, I went like this.
Ready.
My hand.
You should have bit her coochie lip and taught her.
Hold on. Oh, my hand drew back, and I shook with all my might, and I said, I don't hit women. And I looked at her and I said, why did you bite me? She said, you're being a baby. I said, I see teeth marks.
Mm.
So when I said I should bite the shit out of you, she said, do it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, I've been bit without my consent.
Oh, whatever.
Oh, is the culprit?
I'm not gonna put
in the lineup.
Wait.
Yes.
Where's my sound effects? There you go. Babe, it wasn't a bite. It was a
it was.
It was a nibble.
It wasn't no damn nibble.
You bit the crap out of me.
Babe, it's a nibble.
Where's my justice?
Where's justice for that?
Okay, I got it. So when you're married, there's a certain. Hold on, y'all. Just hear me out.
All right.
When you're married, there's a certain level of consent, right? It just a certain level. And no, let's be for real though, right? So you're in a relationship. Let's be for real. I know me and Destiny teasing, but you're in a relationship. You're not married. You're in a relationship. Jonathan Majors. Okay. You choke her. You do all these aggressive things. Or Shannon Sharp. You do all these aggressive things. And on the 101st time, she says, I don't want to be choked. But you're thinking, she didn't told me she don't want to be choked 100 times. But that's just a code word for go ahead and choke me. It's a dangerous thing when the lines become unclear.
But how do you know she didn't mean it? Because
that's what I'm trying to say.
She probably meant it all the time, but she just probably got frustrated that one time.
No. Hear me out, Susie.
Okay.
They're saying that she was into BDSM, and when you read some of her text messages, she says stuff like, I can't wait for you to put your arms around my throat and choke the hell out of me. I can't wait for you to abuse me. Like she's asking for these things.
I did see those messages. You're right.
And he's playing into it. So
Yeah.
I think Shannon Sharp might have a little bit of leeway in this case because there might be a moment where he might say, "How do I know that this isn't the role play that we always do?"
He should have stayed with Michelle. Okay.
Yo, you notice you know this white girl got mad because when the Michelle tape came out, do you know she got mad because she's like, "Oh, you're cheating on me with someone named Michelle," and he was like, "Yeah," you know what I'm saying? So she got mad because he was sleeping with another chick.
That's
He was
the
nice to
you right
Michelle.
there.
Nice to
That's
her.
it. That's right there. So she
He
was
wasn't
probably
choking the
on
shit out of her.
him because he was cheating on her. So then that might have started her timeline.
Hold on. We got a special guest in the building. Babe, somebody's in the green room.
Who?
Hold on, I'm about to tell you in a second. Don't say no names.
Hold
This
up.
woman looked like she eating candy.
Eating good.
I don't see nothing but listen, she's a married woman, so I hope she got clothes on because all I see is shoulders.
Uh-oh.
Now, if I'm not you know what? I'm gonna shut up. Come on to the stage, Miss Kiki. What's up, Kiki?
That's so not fair. I have clothes on, sir.
No, you do. It was the preview only showed you from the neck up, so I couldn't see nothing but shoulders.
I just came back from Chicago. I am so tired.
Welcome back, Kiki. So real quick, you came in at the end of the show.
I did. I texted Destin and I was like, bro, this is not a chat for me.
Listen, the discussion tonight is black man
I
and white
know.
woman, method or madness. And the idea behind it was the brothers that go outside of the race, whether it's a white woman. Well, let me say this first and foremost, Kiki. If you've seen the movie Sinners, do not spoil it for the people who haven't.
I haven't, but I do want to see it, so I should be seeing it soon.
Me and Destiny saw it. Destiny was so scared.
Destiny and I.
Destiny was so scared. Listen, when we left the movie, I said, "Hey, baby, I want to go smoke hookah." She was like, "Do you have to go tonight?" I was like, "I just want to smoke a little hookah." She was like, "You gonna leave me at 10:30 at night?" Then I go to the hookah bar. I left. So now I'm at the hookah bar for 10 minutes, and I get, "Babe, did you leave the window open in the bedroom?" And I'm like,
Turn the light on in the bathroom.
I'm like, I don't know. And she said, "Baby, something fell in the bathroom."
Fell.
So then I'm like, all right. I said, "Okay, look, babe, put me on speaker." I said, "Turn on the hall light, turn on the closet light, turn on the bathroom light in that order." I said, now what I didn't want to tell her, Kiki, what I was about to say was, if somebody pop out, run and just call me when you get down. But I didn't want to scare her. Right, because now I'm thinking, damn, is somebody in the house? Did I leave the window open? And the movie will spook you. All right.
Yeah, you need to learn how to get. You need to get you a strap. You need to learn.
I need a pistol.
Yeah,
I'm scared because I don't want to come in late and Destiny think it's somebody intruding.
Where's Blue?
You better get a safe word.
You ain't got no mace. You ain't got no stun
You better
gun.
text before you enter the door.
I got mace. Also, y'all know
But
I'm
I
in
need
a
a pistol,
relationship,
Steve. I need
but
me
I
a
live by
pistol.
myself most of the time, so
Mm-hmm.
it ain't funny. It is not. Yes.
Wait, Kiki, are you back in SoCal or are you still in Chicago?
I did. I just got back last night.
All right, you got to go see Sinners. I saw it for the second time this week. Great.
You're not
movie.
convincing me that I need to. If anything,
Great movie. Now, Kiki, can I ask you a question? Kiki, let me ask you a question. Where's Blue, baby? Is he in the room
He's
with you?
right here.
Okay.
He on the bed with me.
Susie, let me tell you, we gotta do we need to do a page for Blue because Blue is mad at me because I made him take cat medicine.
Who's Blue?
He's pissed off at me. Yeah, Blue.
My baby
He's
is
a good cat daddy.
That's our cat. That's our cat, Sean.
Blue loves Dave. I want y'all to know that Blue loves Dave.
Yeah.
Cat daddy.
Hey, I gotta see a woman about a cat.
My dog is very angry with me. This is Onyx.
Oh, look at him.
What's your
Look
dog's
at
name?
him.
Oh,
Onyx. He's so mad right now.
Oh, look
I
at him.
left
He's
him
cute.
4 days.
I love Onyx.
He's so mad. He is so
he's
so mad. He's pissed.
The tramp, ain't it?
Kiki, I have a question.
Okay.
Kiki, I have a question, and
I
this
might
is a serious. This is a serious question. You're of mixed heritage, correct?
Maybe. No, just kidding. Yeah.
All right. You want to tell us what your mixture is and which parent is what?
I guess in general, I'm Black and Mexican. My mom is Mexican and my dad is Black. On my dad's side, my grandfather, my dad's dad is, I guess I'd be talking to him about this a lot. He just stayed with me for a week too, and he has no answers. I guess we think he is, if not Cherokee and Black, he is Jewish and Black.
Okay.
We don't know. He has hazel eyes. He's light skinned. You've seen him in person.
Yep.
And then my grandmother is Black, but she has Haitian in her. And then on my mom's side, todos los both of her parents are from Durango.
Está bien, puedes hablar en español, todo bien.
Yo también, un poquito.
Go ahead.
Muscle man. Muscle man.
Hey, listen. This is why I don't fuck with Sean. He starts speaking that shit. I don't know what the hell this nigga's saying.
Hablamos pues.
Listen, let me tell y'all
it's okay
something.
to speak in Spanish.
Let me tell y'all something. God had a plan for me. God was gonna bring me destiny, right? Because if I was hanging with Sean, I was gonna be on some, desperata, something like that.
What's your question though, David?
So here's the topic tonight. The topic tonight is Black man, white woman, method or madness. Black man, white woman, method or madness. Now we're talking about Shannon Sharp. Has been accused of, sexual assault with the young lady that he was with. Now, this young lady, this is a. I hate to say that this is one of those AI things, but the point is, he made a joke like "big black guy chokes little white woman." All right. Then we have Jonathan Majors, muscular, football player, played a boxer, dating a dancer named Grace Jabari from Britain. They get into a fight. He's a big black guy. She's a little white woman. All right, and then we get into the movie Sinners. Now this is a little bit different. It's over here in the corner, but you got Michael B. Jordan, who's a muscular black guy, and in the movie he's dating a woman named Mary, played by Haley Steinfeld, and she's a petite white woman according to the movie. There's a thing about brothers going outside of their race for various reasons. So now I know that you come from an interracial household, right? So it's a little different for you because you actually have parents that are mixed. So you have grandparents that are mixed, and then your mom and dad came together, and then you're mixed. So I really can't ask you why do black men date outside of their race, because I feel like that's kind of unfair. But let me ask you this: how do you feel about black men dating outside of their race? At least in those three scenarios, larger black men dating smaller non-black women. And how do you feel in general about people dating interracially, since you are a child that is interracial?
That's a fun question. I actually have had to remove myself from certain situations because growing up, yeah, kind of like you're saying, I'm a little bit of an anomaly in some regard.
Right.
But especially in law school, I was part of the board of like our Black student union, right? And then I joined certain groups in Orange County and had to again remove myself because they would have discussions about like this exact thing, like interracial Black men, Black women dating other than Black men, Black women, right? And I distinctly remember conversations where people that I was going to school with, people that I was tutoring actually, because I made the dean's list. I made, not to toot my own little horn, but I had really good grades in law school and I was a tutor. I was a paid tutor. And some of the people that I was teaching would make comments in some of these groups that I'm trying to remember exactly how they said it,
dating outside of your race as a Black person, regardless of man or woman, dating outside of your race was considered a disgrace. And having kids outside of your race was a disgrace. And mind you, I'm like one of the leaders in these groups. So it hurt because it made me feel like trying to not just be part of these, especially in Southern California, trying to be part of these groups and trying to foster a community with people that I identify with, to feel like they considered me whether or not they considered me a disgrace, let alone a product of disgrace, was hurtful. It's hard. It's hard because I really do, and you know me at this point now, Dave, like I really do my best to try to be conscious of not just my privilege, but
Yes.
Can you hear me?
No, yeah, you froze, but you back. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. You know me at this point. I tried to be a product of my community while understanding my privilege. I really try to understand my privilege. So
yeah, let me jump in, Kiki, real quick. So I am a Black person. Down in my history, because I have curly hair, naturally curly hair. Down in my history,
curly hair too.
Oh, amen, amen. Down in my history, we believe that we have Blackfoot Indian on my grandma's side, on my father's side. So we think that some of my hair from my dad's side came from Blackfoot Indian. On my mom's side, we have an uncle who passed away in Mississippi named Uncle Coot. Uncle Coot's hair is so smooth. I feel like a Brillo pad compared to Coot. Coot's hair is like silk. My hair is like a Brillo pad compared to Coot. And I'm supposedly having curly hair. So it skips generations on my mother's side. On my dad's side, it passes down because my grandmother, some of my uncles, we all have like curly hair and salt and pepper hair. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because I have always accepted Black, anyone with a portion of Black in them, I'm like, they Black. Anyone, right? Some people will say, well, if you're too light, you're not Black. You're Puerto Rican. You're not Black. You're mixed. You're not Black. You're this. Even Steve got green eyes, right? Hazel green eyes, Steve. Some people might look at Steve and say, oh, Steve ain't Black. How he got green eyes, hazel eyes or whatever, right? Man, in my opinion, everybody on this panel Black. Because from a prior relationship, prior marriage, I learned ex-wife had a white mother, Black dad, high yellow, grew up Black. I had to accept the fact that although they may not be my complexion, they may still be Black because of their experience, because of their culture, because of their upbringing. Now, having said that, when you are a lighter skinned person like a Kiki or Steve, maybe some of those people, Steve, not so much, but Kiki, I'll say, maybe some people that are in that vein may be able to say, I didn't grow up Black, Dave. I grew up around my white side. I grew up around nothing but white people. I don't really know the cultural norms, right? And because of the way they look and how they were raised, they might think and move as a quote unquote white person. But even then, like the actress Haley Steinwell, or whatever her last name is, I feel like she is discovering her Blackness through the movie Sinners, through dealing with Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. She's learning about her Blackness. And I just feel like if you got 10% Black in you or whatever, you Black. I'm not tripping. I consider people Black. I'm liberal when it comes to that, but some people are a little bit more strict about it. But it's difficult for someone in Kiki's position if her Black side doesn't accept her because you're not Black enough. If her Latino side does not accept her, you're not Latino enough.
It's been my whole life.
Then it's like mixed people could be left out there in the cold with no people.
There's actually a book on this.
When I feel like Black people should accept mixed people as Black, just for that very reason, because America don't want to accept you as a white person or Hispanic person. They want to say, oh, you just a nigga. You know what I'm saying?
So if I have 10% of white in me and I look like this, do I get to say I'm white?
You could. Hold on. Let me say this. I feel like white is recessive and black is dominant. So this is my personal feeling, babe. You can't deny if you have a parent that has white in them and they grew up white and they want to teach you white culture, you might think that you're white. I would say, ma'am, you're a black person, but you grew up around white folks. So I'm not going to ask you to deny your parent, but you need to understand that the world's going to call you black, especially if they look just like you. Braided hair, thicker lips.
So how does that same logic apply to Haley Steinberg or whatever her name
is? Because black
10% white.
Because black is a more
But she looks white. That's what I'm saying. She looks like a white woman.
Hear me out.
So how does that apply? So do I get to say I'm white because I have 10% white?
You are. Listen, you are what you are. And if you want to say I'm 10% white, 90% black, you can. It's totally up to you. But the problem is that white is like white milk and black is like chocolate milk. You take a little bit of chocolate and dip it in that white, it's gonna affect the whole thing. You're not. It's not gonna.
But she looks white. So how does she get to say that she's black?
Hear me out. You're not gonna take a drop of white milk, put it in chocolate, and the whole chocolate turn white. But you could put a drop of chocolate, put it in white milk, and that white milk is now chocolate milk or tinted milk. That's
but she
all
looks
I'm saying.
white. So I'm saying, how does she then get to say that I am black when you just said if somebody has 10% of black in them, they're black. Haley Steinberg's she has a paternal grandfather who was not even black. He was part black and part Filipino. So because of that, does she now get to say I am black? Because she has a drop of black.
She gets to say, if you want to be honest, she gets to say, I am black, Filipino, and white. So depending on the day, she could wake up and lean into her black culture. She could wake up and lean into her Filipino culture, or she could wake up and lean into her white culture. She has that opportunity because she has all of them in her.
So how is that fair though? Because I don't get to dodge back and forth between whiteness.
It's not about fair.
So if I have 10%, so that's what I'm saying. Like we kind of have to
I know what she's asking though.
Like, do I get to wake up and say I'm diving into my whiteness because I'm 10% white?
This is the part that we're missing, babe, in the argument. The argument is,
I'm just trying to catch the logic.
I'm giving you the logic. The logic is this. Scientifically, you can claim whatever you are. Socially, America will not let you claim your whiteness, whatever part of white might be in you. Let's just say you had 5%, 10%, 20% white. Let's just say, right, Destiny? The way you look as a black woman and the way I look as a black man, I don't care if I got a part Indian in me, a part white in me, a part Puerto Rican in me. Society doesn't care socially. Scientifically, I could say, according to my DNA, I am part this, and this. But socially, they're going to look at me and say, hey, dog, you a nigga. Hey, young lady, you're a black woman.
Yeah, but I feel like you're missing what she's asking, though, because she's asking
what am I missing?
She's asking something that I feel like I deal with regularly and is a really good point, especially as someone like Destiny, how she presents and how she looks. Can she logistically claim being a white woman in the same context as white women, where you would think white women, not just subjectively but objectively? Am I right, Destiny?
Because we're giving a license for what is her name, Haley Steinberg, to claim that she is black because she has 10% black, but I in turn am not given that same license if I have a drop of whiteness.
But y'all are both.
I think it's a little more complicated than just the do
Kiki.
you have it?
Kiki, I agree, but we are missing that society looks at how we look.
Always. That's I think
but she looks like a white woman, so how does she then get to say I'm black?
Hold on. But this is what
she
looks
like a black
woman.
No.
No.
She logistically say she's
white, She looks like Haley looks like a white woman to black people. Haley might look like a black woman or a mixed woman to white people.
Question.
Should we pull up a picture of
He
Haley?
said, question.
Let's pull up a picture of Haley.
Hold on. Just hear me out. Hold on.
I'm gonna grab some lemonade. I'm
No.
listening. Go ahead.
Kiki, I need you on camera. Kiki, come back.
Okay.
Hold on. Look at Kiki. Lighter skin, right? Fairer skin, straighter hair.
Also, not fair. I did straighten my hair today. I have a hearing tomorrow.
No problem.
Kiki has a fully black parent.
Just
Kiki
hear
looks
me.
black.
But we're not
Full
talking about that.
Mexican parent. Very, very light skin.
That's Destiny. Look at me. Look at Susie. Look at you. Look at Kiki. It's progressively lighter.
Yeah, but that's not what we're asking, sir.
No, but that's what I'm talking about. What I'm talking
You've
about.
met my dad, right? Would you have guessed
Of
my
course I
dad
have.
was anything other than black, even though he's also
Not
light?
at all.
Half black, opposed
Not
to
at all.
having a drop of black.
Kiki is a black woman. But what I'm trying to say
Agreed.
is,
Thank
but
you.
what I'm trying to say is, she said, and cute. Look, I love it.
And cute.
Right.
Kiki got the
But listen.
Take it.
But look, I got Kiki on the big screen. But look at Grace Jabari on the right hand corner. What if Grace Jabari was 25% black? And what if Kiki? What if Kiki was 25% black? Like, let's just say they both were the same percentage black, but because of Kiki's features, America might say, "Oh, she looks mixed. She looks black." But America might look at Grace Jabari and say, "Oh, she looks white." So what I'm saying is, yes, your DNA and your blood. I'm coming to you, Sean. I see you. Your DNA and your blood may allow you to claim your whiteness, your blackness, your Indianness, your Puerto Ricanness, your Latino-ness, whatever you're made up of. That's your science. But when America looks at you in the mirror, especially racist ass America, they're gonna say, "Does she look white or black? Does he look white or black?" And in Kiki's case, they might say Kiki is white or black, and they may not even know Kiki is Latina.
They don't.
You understand what I'm saying?
I understand that, and part of it is how the world views you, right? Is
Right.
part of your experience as a
And
person.
that's
Kiki
my
to
point.
me looks black. I don't think anybody would look at Kiki and think that she is a white woman. You can look at Haley Steinberg. That is a white woman who had somewhere down the line she has a drop of black. And what I'm arguing, husband, is that you just said that Haley Steinberg has a license to go around saying that she is black as a white woman. And so I'm saying, so in reverse, why do I not get that same license if I have a drop of white? Why can I not say that I am a white woman? Now, if we're going by looks, right, which is the line in the sand that you're drawing, you're saying because white is recessive, black is dominant. So then by that logic, Haley should not be able to say that she is a black woman because she looks white. That's all I'm saying. So
is either of her parents black?
No, she has two white parents. One of her grandparents was half black.
You know who else
Because the
she
white
looks
race
like a white
is
woman.
Sophie.
Because
Sophie
the
That's why
white
when I
race.
looked at her,
She's
I could
marrying
see
a
her
white man.
grandparents.
She's
Have
culturally a
y'all
white
seen
woman.
Sophie
White
Richie?
girl.
The white
That is-
race is a
And this
members
is not
only
even a
club.
good
That's
picture
why.
because they made her look like that for the Sinners movie. Pull
Very
up a
white.
picture of her on the regular.
Have y'all seen Lionel Richie's daughters?
Yeah,
They
Nicole
look
Richie.
white.
Yeah, Nicole Richie.
Nicole
Yeah.
Richie. Well, no, Nicole, if I remember correctly, was adopted, but Sophie Richie and the other one.
The white race is
I'm
a
not
members
sure.
only society, and the black club is all
Sophie is
inclusive.
black.
Yeah, we're so quick to be like, yeah,
Oh,
going
But
in. But
Yes,
they don't do the same
exactly.
thing with
go look at
us.
Sophie Richie's photos.
Exactly.
She
Yes. I
does
agree with that.
not look it. Her hair, her
Okay.
facial features, maybe her nose. Granted, she might have had a
Her
nose job.
nose is what's giving it away for me. Her
But she
nose,
might have had a nose job. She might have had a nose job.
maybe
Not gonna
so,
lie.
but she could pass. Look at Leela Rashawn.
Mm-hmm.
Look at
No, Sophie Richie's nose is not
oh,
nose
that's her.
job.
That's Sophie
Sophie, go
Richie.
look at Sophie Richie.
Oh,
That is Lionel
no,
Richie's
no.
daughter.
That's her. That's her. Kiki on the screen.
They might have gave her a little
Yeah.
bit of makeup for that other picture
Yeah.
because that's a whole different looking girl.
That's a white girl.
She's black. She's part black. She grew up. She's had commentary too, where she's spoken about sitting in groups of white people or like not black people talking about black people. And she felt like she couldn't speak up about the fact that she was black. Her father is black. I mean, also, her last name's freaking Richie. And before she got married, because she did
Yeah.
recently get married, before she got married, she would speak about how it was really hard for her to sit in certain groups because she was someone who has black, but she doesn't present that. So it was tough.
But
So
that's the
Kiki,
same way
so-
for Black women who have white in them and they can't sit amongst
Mhm.
white women or even walk amongst white women and even fix their lips to say anything that would make them seem like they feel partially white.
So
It's not
Susie,
allowed.
So Susie, this is what I'm getting at. This is what I'm getting at. The black race has always been way more inclusive than the white race.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So
I guess it depends on experience.
So if you have Sophia Richie right here, this lady to me looks white or Hispanic to me. Right here when I'm looking at her. She might
I
even
love
look
that you think that because that's not what people think. She looks white to most people, but you're right. As someone who's
she looks white
cultured,
or Hispanic or Persian to me. She got some ethnics. Now, I could have said white and black, but I'm just going off of this look I see and I say, okay, she got something going on because she's not 100%. But if you just go off of paleness, oh, she looks like a white girl. But when you start looking at the chin, the lips, you say, oh, maybe she. Now the fact that she's sitting here with her dad, that keys it off. But let's be real, Lionel Richie ain't the darkest nigga ever. Okay, Lionel Richie is high
right?
yellow.
But hold up.
She
That's a
gives
whole
me
nother
Hispanic.
discussion because that's my question. What is but then a lot of black people don't know because even when I talk to my grandfather, who is, and again, Dave and Destiny, y'all met my grandfather. I ask him questions about his heritage, and he's like just one off from slavery. So they don't
Yeah.
talk. They didn't talk about it, and they don't talk about it. So he doesn't have a whole lot to tell me, unfortunately. So I feel like that could be some of the same story. As heartbreaking as that is, it's the truth for a lot of black people growing up. You know, you got the dang, I feel like I'm taking a different direction. So I'll
No,
stop
go
here.
no.
But
Well,
you got the
let me
in
jump in.
home. You got the in home and you got the outside Negro.
Yeah, the house
right?
nigga in the field. The house. Let me be clear. The house nigga and the field nigga. Okay, I'm gonna say what you don't want to say because you don't want to be offensive.
I feel like it doesn't roll off my
But
tongue.
check this out though. Check this out though. So here we have, Kiki is Latina and black. She's mixed. She don't want to say. She don't want to say the coarse.
I don't like
things.
how it sounds when I say it.
I understand. You don't like how it sound, but look at me. I'm from the South Side of Chicago. I'm chocolate as hell, and I'll be like, I'll say it.
Oh, I
House
just
nigga,
came from there.
house nigga, field nigga, house nigga, field nigga. Okay, that's what
I
we
just
dealing
came
with.
from there, and I'm so glad I saw the South
hold on,
Side finally.
Sean. South Side. Hey, but this is what I want to say real quick, Sean. This is what I want to say real quick. If you know what, babe, we just went to my mother's cousin had a memorial in Atlanta. All right, my mother's cousin. Rest in peace to cousin Suzanne. And shout out to my cousin Danny. We went to go see them and everything. I found out that my cousin Paul had 8 straight daughters by a white woman. 8 straight daughters. And when I look at my cousin Justice, who I invited to this show tonight, but she was working, so she couldn't do it. When I look at my cousin Justice is high yellow. My cousin Justice is lighter than Kiki. High yellow. When I look at Justice, I say, oh man, she's mixed and she's high yellow. But what my cousin Justice said at our funeral, at her grandmother's funeral, she said, I love my family. I just want to let y'all know I love you. I got such a diverse family. I love my grandmother and all of that. And when I talked to Justice and her sisters, shout out to my cousin Paul, I said, hey, cousins, how did y'all feel growing up in Hawaii, like mixed? I said, you look Persian, you look Filipino, you look Indian, you look black, you look white, and all y'all are blood sisters. They said yes. I said, hey, is your mom mixed? Is your mom Persian? Is your mom? They said, nope, our mother is straight white. I said, oh my God. And I just realized, yo, I have mixed cousins that in all effect grew up black under their dad and their grandma and they auntie. Now they mama white. Now they mama white, and they not gonna deny their mama, and I don't want them to, because they mama white, they love their mom. And their mom produced 8 beautiful girls. But and if you ask them girls, they black. But Kiki, they lighter than you.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask me, I'm black.
So
Granted, if you ask my partner, he loves the fact that I'm Latina, and like my mom is the Latina one, so I do.
And
It's
that's where the hate comes
two
from.
boys and a girl. And my brothers, even though they're also just as Latino as me, they present very black. And
right,
granted, it's because they're boys and our father is black. And then for
right.
me, being a woman, my mother is Latina. So I take a lot
You look just
after.
like your mama. You look just like your mama.
I'll take
You
that as
hear
a
me?
compliment. She cute. She cute.
Listen. When we go to church and I see Kiki's mom, y'all, I be like, that's Kiki. She just
I
Latin.
hope so. I hope so. My mom is
That's
great.
Kiki. She
But
look
I
just
will
like her mom.
say, my mom never let me forget that even though I present very Latina, like my mannerisms and even the way I speak, I take after her a lot. But she never let me forget that I'm black, because that is the one thing, my mom being Mexican, that's the one thing she's the most proud of. She even told me, actually, growing up, it's a little messed up, but we gonna say it. She told me not to mess up all of her hard work and that I needed to marry a black man. Because that is something that I can relate so much to her,
Wow.
as far as, yeah, but as far
So
as culture, as far as,
so Kiki, I appreciate non-black culture that appreciates black culture.
oh, then you need to talk to my mom a lot,
Because
she's the
in America,
most black Latina woman you'll ever meet.
listen, man, Gloria go to a black church, got a black husband, got black
Mhm.
kids.
Mind
You hear
you,
me?
she picked the church. Do you know that? She picked it. She dragged my
Hey,
dad
man,
and dragged him out
shout out to
every
your
Sunday.
mother. Shout out to
She's the
Gloria.
best.
Shout
She's
out
the
to your
best.
mother. Your mother understands that she got black kids, and
Can I ask a real
this
question
is
when
my
you
point.
finish?
I will, but this is my point, y'all. This is my point. If Haley Steinfeld, and we probably been butchering her name for 3 hours. I don't know if it's Steinfeld, Steinwell. Let me get this lady's name right, please. I'm supposed to be a
I don't think
journalist.
it's Steinfeld. I think I just Googled it. I think we might be
Okay, it's
saying it wrong.
Haley Steinfeld. All right, listen, y'all. If Haley Steinfeld has 25%, 10% black in her, right? Now, this is the point. This is the important part. If she wants to be black and claim her black heritage, Destiny, I'm the type of black man that would say, "Come on in here. You 10%. Come on in here. We accept you." Because I don't want anyone to be ashamed of their blackness.
She shouldn't be ashamed of her 10% of blackness, but she also has to realize that to society, she's a white woman,
Privileged.
right? So society doesn't treat her like she's black. Nobody knows looking at her that somewhere down the line she got 10% of black. And that's
Exactly.
the whole point that I'm making. So I think there's something that should be said to like her experience not being the same. You can grow up culture like around black people, right? Because I there was a couple white guys that went to my high school, and I went to a predominantly black high school. I didn't get around all white people till I went to college. So all my life I was around all black people until I went to college. There are white people that can be surrounded by black people, and that's okay. So they can relate to black people, they can have an affinity for black people, but to the world they're still white, and there's a certain amount of privilege that comes along with that, and I don't think that that should be lost or discounted by
Yes.
saying that she's a black woman,
Yes.
because
Exactly.
clearly she does not present as a black woman.
And it carries a different weight to say I am a Black woman, because I don't even feel privileged to say that. And I'm half. I feel like I still have to carry a certain level of respect for, especially, and Destiny and I have talked about this, colorism is a very real thing. Granted, thank God for Gloria. She always taught me, it's not about me, it's about a different thing. But I don't even feel, even though I identify as a Black woman, I have to carry a different weight if and when I say that, because I present very island. I look Puerto Rican. I look Dominican. When I was in the Dominican Republic, I didn't carry the weight of a lot of the hate that my Black sisters carried when we
Yes,
went and
I
visited.
agree with that. But I want to
At
say this.
all.
I agree, but I want to say this, and that's Haley Steinfeld in the bottom right hand corner, looking like a straight up white woman.
No,
Looking
she
like
looks
that.
Hispanic.
She looks ambiguous. What does my dad call it? Ambidextrous.
She go both
Hispanic
ways.
or European. He does not give me white.
Okay.
Yeah, she's giving an anomaly. Not white,
She's
but an
definitely not
anomaly.
giving black. She's giving something.
She's from Argentina.
Hold
giving
on. Wait.
She's not giving black, but she's giving brown.
Wait. Destiny. She's not giving black, but is she giving white?
She's giving white to me. I think these pictures, you gotta go on Google and
But
look.
wait.
And even when
I'm
you watch
looking.
interviews of her, this is a white girl.
So
And
baby,
there's nothing wrong with that. I'm
baby,
not bashing her for being white.
can I jump in, big?
But I just go ahead.
You know how you just said she's giving white to me.
Yes.
Sean just said she's giving Hispanic.
Okay.
Kiki just said
he's
she's
more
giving
culturally rounded.
she's giving something.
Not more
other.
than you did. Sorry.
Other, okay.
She's not giving brown, but she's giving something.
Okay, so hold on. When I go to the right, hold on, let me try to
White girl, right there. White
me,
girl.
she looks
white girl.
white.
This
Hold
one
on.
white. That one
Look,
white.
y'all,
Yeah.
look.
I think the point is she's passing. Doesn't
No,
matter what
Hispanic
she's
now.
giving. She's
Passed by white
passing.
people.
She can look like a white woman, and I have a lot of conversations with this with one of my really close friends who is part Latina, and I have to humble her because she is white passing. It doesn't matter if she is Latina. She's passing. There are people that can perceive Haley Steinfeld and say, maybe if you're cultured and you're diverse enough, or you're like us, right? Like, we've seen a lot.
Right.
I mean, we got a lot going on in our own culture. So, we could look at her and be like, oh, maybe you're XYZ, but to the average white person, especially here in Orange County, I would hope you know this by now, she's
Yes.
giving passing. Doesn't matter if she is or isn't, she's giving passing. She's white. She can be white passing in some settings. So, like, if she comes up to someone and they say, hey, what are you? And she says white, she's acceptable. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like,
and I
nobody's gonna think twice about it. It's not gonna
and
be
white passing is a big deal. You're absolutely right, Kiki. White passing is a big deal because none of us on this stage are white passing. The closest person to white passing is Kiki, and Kiki ain't white passing to me. Kiki looks mixed, if you ask me. Haley Steinfeld in this picture looks like a white girl, like a brunette.
White girl, yeah. She's
with thick eyebrows. That's
now,
it.
if you dig in to the
No way.
eyebrows,
Is that? Did she play?
yes,
Sorry.
she was Spider Gwen. This is thank you. Where's my?
That's my movie, Kiki.
Check this out. I found out she played Spider Gwen last weekend, Kiki. I was just
I know
shocked.
she was in True Grit, right?
Yes, and she was also in Lovecraft Country.
And Pitch Perfect, one of them, right?
She might have been in Pitch Perfect. Here's my situation. Spider Gwen, the character, was a white girl. Spider Gwen is right here. She in the Spider-Man movie. Spider Gwen was a platinum blonde white girl.
Yeah.
I had no idea Haley Steinfeld played Spider Gwen.
Wow.
Until this weekend. Now, if you look at that picture,
J years old.
You look at that picture, you say, okay, Latin, something going on. You look at this picture over here, you say, the one on the right from the movie Sinners, you say, half black, half white, something's
Mixed
going
chick.
on.
She looks like
Mixed,
me.
Yeah,
mixed
because
chick,
they
right?
put little bronzer on her to make her more. She looks a little bit more like racially
That's,
ambiguous there.
that's the color grade.
Blackfishing, the thing they
Oh,
did with Ariana Grande, the thing they did with
Yeah, right
Destiny,
what is he
there,
doing
white
the rest of
girl.
that's white girl.
Destiny, hold on though. This is what I'm saying. I'm gonna say our because you know we married. You family, baby. Our cousin Justice looked like that to me with curlier hair. With curly, just hear me out. Just hear your husband out. With curlier hair. When I look at my cousin, I say my cousin looked like a white or Hispanic girl with really curly hair. If Haley Steinfeld in this picture had curly hair and tattoos, she would look like Justice to me. To me.
Okay.
And when I look at a person that looks like that, I say that person is mixed. They got something in them. I don't see them
Oh,
as lily European white. Now, your experience coming from where you
yeah,
came
I
from is a little
disagree.
agreed. I had to learn something different because of my past. Because of my
Yeah.
past, I had to learn that you could look white and be black because of your culture and because of your heritage. For instance, Kiki is black and Hispanic. If Kiki's mom and dad focused on her Latino side, Kiki might not know as much or be able to move over into black culture as much because she could have just been raised to completely Latina. And we could be talking to a woman that barely speak English, much less Ebonics. If
Can
her
I,
parents
Yeah, but
went that route.
can I
yeah,
ask her the
but
question
Kiki
before she
looks
goes to the
black.
restroom?
There, Kiki looks part black. There are Dominican people that are darker than me that speak
Afro.
no English,
Yep.
that
Afro
speak straight
Latinos.
Spanish.
Yeah.
But are they black? But are they black or Spanish?
No, they're
Nope.
black.
They're
They're
black
black, but they're
because to
Afro
the world they
Latinos.
look black.
But to
I
some
need
of
to
them,
find I need to
but
find my friend. Her name is Marlene, and she
Kiki,
is
Kiki,
Those
to
are
some
Afro
to
Latinos.
Kiki, I don't know how many Dominican women I've heard say, "I'm not black, Poppy. I'm Dominican." Like
That
they
doesn't
don't want
well,
that
colorism.
doesn't make it
they don't
true.
want to say shit about black. It's their culture.
Colorism and racism.
It's their
That's what
Colorism
I'm
and
culture.
saying.
racism.
Like just because they
I mean,
say
I
it don't
They
make
agree.
it true.
are, but
Like
they are. They are.
Oh, so
they're in
Mind you,
denial.
Dominican Republic.
wait. So
Dominican
we going
Republic shares a border with Haitian people.
I agree. So we're gonna claim them, but we're not gonna claim Haley's 10%.
No, it's not.
No, that
No. We're
because
not saying one or the other. We're just saying that Dominicans, especially Afro Latino and Afro Latina Dominicans that deny their blackness or their
Mhm.
Africanness,
they're
it's rooted in self hate, which we're all too familiar with.
Cardi B.
Haley looks white. They don't look white. They're not getting any privilege associated with being white. They look black. They're just in denial.
Right.
All
And that's
right.
what I'm saying. Like, we're allowing Haley a license to skate back and forth, right? To get
White
the
girl
Bet.
right
benefit
there.
of
That
being able
picture,
to
white
claim
girl
black
with
while
a black girl
maintaining all of
nose.
her white privilege, but we in return don't get that same license. That's all I'm saying. That's
I
all I'm
agree.
saying.
I agree. So I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna do this as the host of the show. I'm about to make a bold statement. Haley Steinfeld will not marry her white fiance. Now that she's done Sinners, she discovers she got some black in her history, and she been around black folks and Delta blues. She ain't marrying that white boy.
She's definitely gonna marry
She
him.
might. Is
she
she?
not
Almost
Is
marrying that
certainly.
white
there?
boy.
She's absolutely
They
gonna
probably
marry
gonna
And
him.
divorce
even if
though.
she do,
I was
and
gonna
even
say
if she
she.
do, it's gonna listen to me. I'm saying this
Both
as a
her
host.
parents are white. That's all
I'm
she knows. She's
saying
gonna
this. I'm
marry him.
saying this as a host.
Yeah.
I'm saying this as a host. You hear me, Sean? Even if she married the white guy,
Mhm.
it's not gonna work, and she gonna end up with a black
So
man.
what do we got to
Unless,
Why
say
would
about the
you
J
why would you
Los?
wish that
unless,
on somebody's
check
If
this
that's the
out.
marriage?
case, what do we
Unless,
got to say about the J Los?
well, J Lo grew up in the Bronx. That's a little bit different.
Is it?
That's
She
very
grew up in the
different. Yeah.
Bronx, but she be
Like
acting
I'm from
like that's
Brooklyn.
only
The
she be
J
Bronx.
acting like that's only fun for her when it's convenient.
Man,
So
J will be
J Lo
home, bro.
knows how to play
Home.
the game. That's what she knows. She's
I
been in
think
the
she was
industry long
taught
enough.
how to play the game. I don't think she knew how to play it because she's playing it horribly. She's
Well, to us. but it's working in some. Mariah
making
Carey
me
the
mad.
same thing. Mariah Carey, she can play both sides depending on where she's at, depending on who she's talking to. She knows how to play both
Carey a
games.
different level of.
Yeah, if you
All right,
get
fine.
Mariah
I'm a
Carey,
J-Lo hater. If you can't tell.
okay, that's all right. If you get Mariah Carey on the white side, she's the way she acts is completely different than how she acts onto her black side. J-Lo, most people, I get it. Most people are not a fan. I'm not. I mean, Jenny from the block, whatever. J-Lo was okay from A Living Color to now. I get it. She knows how to play both lines. It's typical, and especially in the Bronx, because in the Bronx you have Dominican, you have Puerto Rican, excuse me, and you have Cuban. So you get different variations. So being in Brooklyn, we tend to go up to the Bronx to try to fool with, the girls, go to Fordham, Washington Heights, which is 100% Dominican, meaning you can live there and not speak English.
Mm-hmm.
A large majority of the Bronx is like that as well. So I've had best friends out there who I assume the whole time we were friends that they were all black because they were darker than me. You couldn't tell the difference, and they didn't have an accent, but they were 100% Dominican. Then on the other side, I dated a girl. She, depending on the type of day, she could look white. And she's also Dominican. Puerto Rican as well. However, Puerto Ricans, they have a different facial structure. But Dominicans, if they're of the very light complexion and their hair's maybe a blondish or brunette, they could almost pass for white if you don't know who you're talking to.
But Dominicans range.
Yes, their Dominicans range go from pretty much almost white to the most African of African dark.
Mm-hmm.
And they're every shade. I think they're probably one of the only cultures who cover every single shade. From a super pale to a midnight
I would say them
black.
and Puerto Rican. I would say Puerto Rican too, because those islands are just so close.
Yeah. Puerto Ricans can. However, I haven't really seen too many Puerto Ricans on that very pale side, but they do get close. So yeah.
And they do with colorism too, which is why they're fighting so hard not to be black.
Yeah.
It's the
Latin
same thing we
culture
do
in general.
Yeah, the black, for a Dominican girl who is, let's say she's about your complexion, Des, the last thing she wants you to do is call her black. And in the ones that do accept, say, okay, yeah, we're Afro-Latina, the lighter girls, like, nah, whatever. And then they have beef. Like internally, they have colorism beef that is real. The darker skinned girls will beef with the lighter skinned girls, try to cut their face with a blade. Like it's in the Hispanic culture, when we start talking Dominican, Puerto Rican, Cuban, those three right there, it's vicious because Cuban as well. You can get super pale, then you can get midnight black. These Cubans.
Mm-hmm.
So you have that colorism inside of that Hispanic world because some of them will attach to the Afro-Latina side to them. So yeah, I'm this. Some of them like, yeah, nah, I'm Dominican, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm Cuban, they'll attach to that and they'll stay there.
Hey, Sean,
Yeah.
y'all need to go see Sinners.
Okay, sure.
Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, and then what's my sister's name on the right, y'all?
Dang, you don't remember her?
Who is she?
Hold on, she's from Lovecraft Country.
I didn't see that, so I have no idea.
I think her name is like Annie.
Oh yeah. Hey, look in the chats. Zoe Saldana doesn't like to be called black.
No, she doesn't. But
interesting, right?
And she don't look white.
She definitely don't.
Don't look white.
Zoe's Dominican, but if you ask me, Zoe looked black to me. But Zoe claims Zoe is she Colombian?
I think she's Colombian.
Okay, all right, Colombian. But my point is, she looks Afro-Colombian, black.
Yeah,
she looks black Colombian to me, but she don't want to claim black. Now, maybe she don't want to claim African American because that's another thing. You got some black people like Ethiopian, Nigerian. They don't want to claim African American. They're like, no. Right, I'm Ethiopian. I'm South African. I'm Nigerian. They don't want to claim, even if they grew up here. They claim their heritage more so than their Americanness.
Right.
And
Because
that,
the
might
American
be a
culture,
stigma because of the American culture. Come on,
right?
Sean.
American culture is all over the place. I mean, and that's one of the points I was going to bring up when it comes to kids. When you have a black and you have a white or Hispanic, whatever, it's going to depend on how strong those genes are. So, for example, if the mother's genes are super strong and the father's genes are weak, but she's white, that kid's going to come out looking like Lionel Richie, something along those lines. One of my nephews, my brother, his wife is white. He had twin boys. One of them, you can see the black. The other one, you can't see it at all. So when it comes to the American culture, that's why a lot of people I'm Guyanese, I'm African, I'm this, because when you talk white, and African American, when they mix, you can 100% tell that they're mixed and that somebody in there's black because of the features, the cultures. But when you start mixing black and Hispanic, it depends on the stronger genes. When you start mixing any Hispanic culture, but you start mixing in black and let's say European, well, let's say Ukrainian, Ukrainian genes are strong. Who's this?
I don't want to be. I'm gonna
Hold
peace out.
on,
I have
Sean,
to.
I'm gonna let you go, Kiki. Wait, don't leave.
Okay,
Real quick.
too.
What's her race? What's her color?
Puerto Rican.
Black.
She's
Brown, but
probably
she's
Hispanic and black.
Hispanic.
Something mixed with black.
Yeah, Hispanic and black.
I heard Hispanic and black. I heard Puerto Rican. I heard brown.
Yeah, potentially
She could be a
Egyptian.
lot of things, in my opinion.
Destiny.
Definitely not white.
Destiny. This is our cousin Justice.
Is that her?
This is Justice, and Justice is
She's
half
rich.
black, half white. Her mama is white. Her daddy is more chocolate than me.
You could tell.
Yeah,
You could tell.
You can see the
She
features
does
right
not
here.
look white. She looks like
Not
she
at all.
has black in her.
I don't
Yeah.
want to start a new conversation, but my thing is, if you're brown at all and you're
Yeah.
mixed with white, if anything, but you're brown, sorry, you're not white. I mean, what is it? My dad has a joke about this. You need to ask him, by the way, Dave. What do they call a black doctor? Regardless of how much black he is, if he looks black, what do they call a black doctor?
Black.
Doctor.
A nigga.
There you go.
Oh.
There you go.
How did I know, Kiki? How did I know?
Because this is why we're friends, Dave.
So check this out. Her father. Now I've met her father, so I know her father's complexion. I know a little bit of his heritage. Her father is lighter than me, but darker than her.
Okay.
Darker than probably darker than Des. But her father got curly hair.
Maybe similar to Des, actually.
Maybe similar to Des, right? But curly hair. So when she says her father tells this joke, what do they call a black doctor regardless of complexion? I already knew a nigga. I knew because I know how white America.
Even if he's part white, what do they call a black doctor that
A
at
nigga.
all looks black?
Because I know how America sees color.
Thank you.
So here's my point. If the joke is, what does America call a black doctor regardless of his complexion? I say the same thing about my cousin Justice, who I think is super pretty. I say the same thing about Haley Steinfeld. I say, if you claim your blackness, you're black. I don't care if you look white. And this is my personal opinion. I don't care if you look white. If you claim your blackness and you grew up with a black understanding, then guess what? I'm going to claim you as black. Now, Haley Steinfeld grew up white. Haley Steinfeld didn't discover her blackness until this year after doing the movie.
But how do you know that though? Like, did she say that?
Yeah, she said it, Des. She said
She
it.
said she didn't know she was black until she did this movie.
She said, I did not know that my grandfather was part black until I did this movie, and I didn't understand the culture and the heritage that he might have gone through. So my point is this. If you grew up in white culture, but you have black in you, you might be white passing, as Kiki said. Sorry, my camera's tripping. You might be white passing, as Kiki said, but even white people will look at you and say, you ain't us, you a nigga.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, if you look like Haley, if you look like my cousin Justice, if you look like Kiki, because of that, because I know that white society will call you a nigga, I'm willing to say, come on into the black fold. You got black in you.
White
You
society is
part of
not
us.
calling Haley the N
Before,
word.
yeah.
That's the whole point. Like, I just think sometimes we're a little bit too inclusive because they don't do the same thing with us. That's the whole point. And I think that's what stifles the black cause a lot of times, because we're too inclusive. Like, you know what I mean? And it's not reciprocated.
That's fair.
That's the whole thing.
I
And
will say, I think that unfortunately we forget to be inclusive, because being someone who has never, ever, even though I am privileged in my own color, I've never fit in with the white community. I've never fit in even with the Latino community, being someone who does somewhat identify as that. Both communities have always called me black. I've always been identified as black. And
So let
then
me say this,
the
Kiki.
black community has always forgot to be more inclusive
So
of
Kiki, this is where David comes in. Your Latin community ain't accepting you. White community don't know what you are. They not accepting you.
but the black community didn't either.
Hold on. But if you had more black folks like David would say, hold on, y'all. She a nigga.
Kiki is clearly black. I just don't understand the disconnect.
I know.
Kiki is
but this-
clearly, she
but Des-
clearly looks black.
but
Her
Des-
privilege comes from being light skinned, not from being other or white or whatever. Kiki looks like a black woman.
There are some black folks that will look at Kiki and say, she mixed. She ain't black. Don't let her start speaking Spanish. Don't let her start speaking Spanish. They're gonna be like, oh, who is this B?
If the black card can be extended to Haley, I really don't see why it's not being extended to Kiki.
But that's my point. My point is, I wish there were more black people like me that would say, if you got a drop of black in you and you own your blackness, you black. See,
you do know this is just recent, David.
What you mean?
You know, all this conversation trying to split the difference now is recent, within the last 3 years. We didn't do this 10, 15, 20 years ago. Yo, you're somebody, you half black, you part black. Okay, yeah, you black. That's how we saw it growing up.
I agree.
90s, 2000, 2010s.
I agree.
Going into the 20s. It's not until this daggone election where all of a sudden the black community says, okay, now we got to start splitting hairs here. You know what? You mixed, so you're not quite fully black. Okay, wait a minute. You're black, but you're from parents from Nigeria.
Well, I would disagree.
I think it has more to do with how society perceives you, because that determines how the world will treat you. Haley Steinberg is not walking through the world as a black woman. That's my whole point. I'm not saying
you're right.
that she's not allowed to have a drop of black. I'm not saying I think she's a perfectly nice girl. All I'm saying is that I'm willing to bet my bottom dollar, and I don't have a lot of dollars. I'm willing to bet
your husband
that
does.
she
yes, you do.
You ain't rich. I'm rich.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because you married to your husband. No, yes, you do, because you married to a husband. Your husband works hard.
Like, we ain't rich. I'm rich.
Okay, I love you guys. Destiny
She's
knows
rich.
I need to wind down. I do have to call my boss back tonight.
we're gonna go. We're 3 hours in. We're supposed to stop at 2 hours. This was a great conversation. But I want to say something to all of my people on here. Okay, listen, y'all. Listen, I'm gonna pull her back up. If this white passing woman, Haley Stein, I didn't forget how to pronounce her name. I don't know if it's Steinberg, Steinfeld. If Haley, as a result of playing, Mary in
I think the
Sinners,
black woman is Wumby.
please go watch Sinners, y'all. If this woman grew up white passing in her head, I'm white culture. Oh, I'm a white woman in America. I'm a white actress. If she finds out by doing a black movie, oh my God, look at the heritage of my people. Look at what my grandfather been through. Damn. Is this why white folks don't accept me? Because check it out, Kiki. She know white folks don't accept her because she look other. She might be
But
white
they
passing.
could.
She might be, but some could, but not
She
them
said
MAGA.
white parents.
Not them MAGAs. Destiny.
Go bring up a picture of
Maybe.
her parents.
Destiny,
don't
you're not hearing
understand.
what I'm saying, babe.
I know, but
Let-
I'm willing to bet that nobody has ever classified this girl as other. Bring up a picture of her parents. This
Yeah,
woman who was
I
raised
agree
by
with
2
Destiny.
white people.
Not saying I don't
Like,
accept her, but I agree with her. She has a lot of different. She's dynamic enough to be passing to where she could tell white people she's white or say she's white and like
I'm
make it through. I don't have that privilege. I'm
I
privileged, but I ain't
guarantee you
got that
white people have
privilege.
never said to her, "You're not white."
Mm.
Especially since you're telling me that she didn't even discover she had a drop of black until this movie.
Nah, this just she don't look white. I'm going through all her pictures. Ain't no white going on here. She look Hispanic or something else.
She
I don't give her.
looks.
I wouldn't give
She
her
does
black.
look. She does look of color, but
She looks
she
like something. She
can.
don't give me white.
I think in
Her
certain
grandfather
settings,
was
especially
Filipino
Southern
and black.
California, she could get
Ah,
away
there it
with a
is.
lot.
There it is. The Filipino side, because Filipinos have strong
Mm.
genes, just like black.
So I
Mm.
want
Yeah,
to say
she's
something.
giving me a
do.
little Filipino for
But
sure.
Okay, I do want to say,
hear
I'm
me
sorry,
out. Hear
guys.
me out.
Yeah.
Hear me out.
I
We
gotta
gotta
take a
go.
shower. I love you guys.
Kiki, I'm
gonna
closing it. I'm closing it. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. I'm ending the show, Kiki. Listen, y'all. Listen. White in America is very pure Anglo-Saxon European. When you start mixing Spanish, Asian, Filipino, Indian, Persian, I don't care how fair the skin is. When you start adding other stuff, white folks don't accept you as white. You are a chink, a gook, a wetback, a nigger. You are something other in America. That's all I'm saying. So I don't care what privilege she may have by not being black. She don't have full white privilege because this woman has something going on.
True.
That's all.
Yeah,
That's all I'm
true.
saying. That's all I'm saying.
True.
Now, if as she studies her DNA and what is it, 365 plus me and whatever all it's called, if she comes to realize,
If she call the police on you and say you didn't went upside her head, let's see what happened.
but baby, we're not talking about women that's trying to hurt a black man.
I'm just saying,
All right.
who do you think they're gonna believe?
911.
What I'm talking about, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if Kiki claims her blackness, and if Haley claims her blackness, and if my cousin Justice claims her blackness, then David is going to say, come on in, sister.
Kiki and Justice don't
Come
have
on
a
in.
choice.
Real
They
quick,
look
on my way out,
Yeah, I don't have.
I think you're wrong on the access part. She can probably access 90% of the white community.
I agree.
She may not get it all. She probably, I bet you she can get 90%
Not
of
enough.
the
I
white
don't think,
community.
That's
and I don't
enough.
think that he's saying. I
Exactly,
don't
that's
think
enough.
that
I
he's
agree.
saying.
She can get in the
I don't think that
country.
I
he's
can
saying that
access
she's not
zero.
welcome in Dave's world.
Same
I
here.
think he's still saying she's welcome in Dave's world, but more than even me, and I'm light skinned. I accept my privilege. I know it. I will utilize it if it helps my community. That's great. But even more than me, she does benefit from being as light and ambiguous, or what does my dad say?
Yep.
Ambidextrous.
Ambidextrous. I'm gonna start using that too.
It's not, or amphibious. Amphibious. That's another one he likes to
In the
say.
water. Yeah, that's funny. All right, y'all, I'm out. I gotta get up in the
Yeah.
morning.
Same.
I got two things I want to share before I let y'all go. Hold on. Just stay with me, Sean, because you're going to like this one.
Bro, I'm
Where's
stealing
that?
your wife in the morning. You know this, right?
Kiki.
We're going to San Diego. I gotta go to bed.
Is that tomorrow? Why y'all?
Yeah.
Kiki, we got to talk. What y'all going to San Diego for? What's in San Diego, Kiki?
I have a pretty
Court.
big hearing.
Why is my wife going to court and she not able to be a lawyer? She just in the court.
She can be a lawyer. She gonna be a lawyer with me though.
Look at this non-black woman using
Lord.
black
Are you
slurs.
setting up
Listen,
your next
using black slurs with a black accent.
She's Indian.
I'm sitting here going into a parking lot asking
Oh
if you
God.
You've been staring at me
with your fake ass eyelashes.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give
Get out
a
of my
fuck,
face, you fucking nigger.
Stop sitting here. Say that, bitch.
Nigger.
You got me
Nigger.
fucked up.
Nigger.
I'm sitting here
Well, you know-
going into a parking lot asking if you good.
bitch.
You been staring at me
with your fake ass eyelashes.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give
Get out of my face, you fucking nigga.
How pathetic.
So here's the problem. Now in this particular case, we have a Indian woman
Who's darker than me and Kiki
who's
put
darker
together.
than me, darker than both of y'all.
Yeah,
We have
but you're bringing in a whole different level.
But here's no. But this is the point. This is the point. You have people who aren't white.
Can we not?
They don't need to be, but
She calling this sister a nigger, and she calling. First of all, she said nigger, and then she said bitch, nigga. Now she talking in a black.
Going speed past the fact that she didn't get snatched
from a
out
hard
the
ER to a soft AH.
I have a whole separate spiel
And
of
she
opinions
kept the same
on
meeting.
that.
I have a problem with this woman in a major way.
I got a problem that she didn't get snatched through the window.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that's the violent side of me. Let me share. Now I know
Hold on. I got one more. Where's it at?
No, Dave, I gotta go to bed.
We're all leaving, but I gotta play this one last thing. Dang it, where is it, Kiki? It was perfect. Hold on.
Girl.
Damn, I can't find it.
I wasn't even going to join you guys.
This
I
is the
was
perfect-
so tired.
Kiki,
Well, look,
you love us.
I can't go. You can't
I'm
go.
gonna sleep good
do,
tonight.
and it's been a minute since I've gotten to join, so I am mad.
Dang man, I can't find my. I had
My
another.
hearing tomorrow is a
I had
pretty big
another
deal for
black.
me.
I had another black adjacent.
Save it. Save
I
it for
can't
next
find
week.
it.
That's because the Lord says,
Save it
let
for
his
now.
people
Or
go.
Dave,
And
save
the
it
Lord
for a night
said-
that we go get hookah together.
Oh, uh-oh.
Kiki, we gotta
Save
be
it for
up in the
them.
morning.
Hold
Hold on, pause.
I'm the one.
Pause.
I'm the one who
Check
has
this
to
out.
argue in front of
Check this
San
out.
Diego court with
Check
this.
this out.
You're gonna do great.
Check us out, Kiki. We can go get hookah right now.
No, I cannot.
We
You
gotta
I
get up in the
can.
morning.
cannot.
Well, guess what? I got to get up in the morning too, but I'm about to go get me some.
Well, can you fix the coffee machine before you go?
Baby, I can't fix that machine.
Hey, look.
Glasses
The
and wine. It's
coffee machine.
10 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock at night. I don't know what I'm doing with that damn machine.
Hold up. Destiny said, you the provider, provide.
See, now if I go above his head and fix it, he gonna be mad at me. He's like, I told you I was mad.
Destiny, you want me to wait, hold on, babe. Babe, is it fair? Is it fair after a long show, a long day, 2 deep glasses of wine? You want me to now descale this
don't worry about
this
it. I
damn
got
equipment?
her. I'll get her some good coffee in the morning. Don't worry about it.
It's not about that. Kiki, this is what you don't understand. It ain't about you. It ain't about her having coffee. It's about her husband doing manual labor at her beck and call.
It's not. It's about
because I said
providing.
It's the only thing I asked him to do.
And you know what?
I'm gonna holler, y'all. Y'all be
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Y'all do
Love
what
you
y'all
guys.
do.
Bye.
What's my
No,
thing?
Sean, you can't leave. You
Why
gotta
not?
help me out. You gotta help me out.
Hey,
Do I-
look, hold
no,
on.
You keep lingering us.
Look, okay, real quick. First off,
Oh,
Dave,
no.
I cannot get into this. Officially but unofficially, great to meet the wifey. I'm the infamous Sean that you hear about from time to time.
Babe, you gotta ask Ashley about Sean.
No.
He pissed her off years ago.
Love, peace, chicken grease. Love, peace, chicken grease.
Kiki, you can't
I gotta
leave
go to
because
bed,
you came in here and dropped this interracial bomb, and now you're leaving.
Well, you asked me to. You sent me the link and
Kiki,
said,
are you
going.
white or black? Kiki, are you white or black?
Love, peace, chicken grease. Good night.
And see, she don't want to claim it. She don't want to claim it.
I'm not white at all.
Hey, Steve, man, I appreciate you, man. Light skin Steve, Sean, Kiki. I love all of y'all, man. It's after dark, man. I see y'all next week, man. It's your boy Dave Life. Subscribe on Instagram and YouTube, man. We here.